สวัสดีค่ะทุกท่านดิฉันพิญญาพัฒน์มีสิงห์ธารคุณค่ะตัวแทนจากทีมงาน DigiTech ASEAN Thailand ค่ะสวัสดีค่ะทุกท่านดิฉันพิญญาพัฒน์มีสิงห์ธารคุณค่ะตัวแทนจากทีมงาน DigiTech ASEAN Thailand ค่ะจะมาร่วมเป็น MC ภาษาไทยในวันนี้นะคะดิฉันขอยินดีต้อนรับทุกท่านเข้าสู่สัมมนาออนไลน์ภายใต้ธีมอนาคตของการตลาดที่มีประสิทธิภาพขับเคลื่อนธุรกิจของคุณด้วยการตลาดแบบอัตโนมัติค่ะโดยมีผู้สนับสนุนหลักคือบริษัท Zoho Corporation นะคะและหน่วยงานผู้สนับสนุนจากสมาคมผู้ใช้ดิจิทัลไทยค่ะดิฉันขอแนะนำถึงกฎในการเข้าร่วมสัมมนาออนไลน์ดังนี้นะคะสำหรับผู้ที่ชมผ่านแอปพลิเคชัน Zoom ค่ะทีมงานขออนุญาตปิดกล้องและไมโครโฟนของทุกท่านค่ะหากท่านมีคำถามนะคะสามารถพิมพ์คำถามของท่านในช่อง Q&A ด้านล่างค่ะสำหรับท่านที่รับชมผ่าน Facebook นะคะท่านสามารถพิมพ์คำถามของท่านในช่องคอมเมนต์ได้เลยค่ะวิทยากรของเราจะตอบคำถามของท่านหลังจากจบการบรรยายค่ะ
Hello everyone, good afternoon to us in Asia and good morning to our delegate from Europe. Welcome to our webinar series under the theme of the future of effective marketing. Drive your business with marketing automation, exclusively sponsored and powered by Zoho Corporation and supported by Thai Digital Technology User Group Association. My name is Wing and I'm from the organizer team of DigiTech ASEAN Thailand and I'm pleased to be your MC today. Just a few housekeeping rules for us to note. For those who are in Zoom webinar, we will turn off your camera and mute your microphone. If you have some question for our topic or speaker in mind, please type your question under the Q&A box at the end or as soon as, and our speaker will address your question during the Q&A session at the end or as soon as possible. And for those of you who are watching from Facebook Live, you can also drop your question in the comment box and we'll gather the questions and pass to the speaker to address to them later.
ค่ะในสภาวะเศรษฐกิจปัจจุบันนะคะที่เราต้องเผชิญกับข้อจำกัดด้านทรัพยากรและงบประมาณที่ลดลงอย่างต่อเนื่องแต่ในทางกลับกันค่ะเราจำเป็นต้องสร้างผลตอบแทนทางการตลาดจากการลงทุนที่สูงขึ้นด้วยการสร้างความสนใจในตัวสินค้าและผลการขายบวกกับการสร้างแรงจูงใจให้กับทีมงานนะคะจากข้อจำกัดทั้งหมดที่เราเผชิญค่ะเราจะบรรลุเป้าหมายอย่างมีประสิทธิภาพสูงสุดได้อย่างไรวันนี้เราจะมาเรียนรู้ร่วมกันนะคะ
In the current state of economy where we are constantly faced with the resources constraint, reduced budget and streamlined organization with talent drain, yet with the country that we are expected to deliver higher marketing return on investment with lead generation and sales result plus a very motivating team. Given all these constraints that we face, how can we then achieve our goal in the most effective way? This is not mission impossible, as we're going to learn together today on the future of effective marketing. Drive your business with marketing automation. Ladies and gentlemen, on this occasion, I would like to guide you through to the agenda of today. We will kickstart our session on the topic Unlock the Power of Automation in Marketing by Mr. Khoo Ching, Regional Marketing Manager of Zoho Corporation, which his session will be conducted in both English and Thai. Our second topic is what we need to watch out to avoid marketing automation failure. Ms.Supavadee Tantiyanon, Vice President of Thai Digital Technology User Group Association, which her session will be conducted in English.
ค่ะสำหรับวิทยากรคนแรกของเราในวันนี้ได้แก่คุณครูเชียงชิงนะคะ Regional Marketing Manager ค่ะภูมิภาคเอเชียแปซิฟิกจากบริษัท Zoho Corporation ค่ะกับการบรรยายในหัวข้อวิธีการเพิ่มประสิทธิภาพทางการตลาดของคุณโดยการปรับเปลี่ยนรูปแบบการทำงานจากงานสำคัญที่ต้องทำด้วยตนเองให้เป็นระบบอัตโนมัติค่ะสำหรับวิทยากรท่านต่อไปได้แก่คุณสุภาวดีตันติยานนท์นะคะอุปนายกสมาคมผู้ใช้ดิจิทัลไทยค่ะกับการบรรยายในหัวข้อสิ่งที่ควรระวังเพื่อหลีกเลี่ยงความล้มเหลวทางการตลาดอัตโนมัติค่ะสำหรับในหัวข้อแรกเราจะมีการบรรยายเป็นทั้งภาษาไทยและภาษาอังกฤษนะคะดิฉันขอแนะนำวิธีการเปลี่ยนภาษาสำหรับผู้เข้าฟังผ่านแอปพลิเคชัน Zoom นะคะหากท่านเข้าฟังจากคอมพิวเตอร์ทุกท่านสามารถคลิกที่ไอคอนรูปโลกนะคะตรง Interpretation ในแถบด้านล่างค่ะจากนั้นเลือกภาษาที่ท่านต้องการรับฟังค่ะสำหรับผู้ที่เข้าฟังจากมือถือทุกท่านสามารถคลิกที่ More ในแถบด้านล่างนะคะกดเลือก Language Interpretation จากนั้นเลือกภาษาที่ท่านต้องการรับฟังและกดดันเพื่อเสร็จสิ้นการเปลี่ยนภาษาค่ะ วิทยากรท่านแรกของเราได้แก่คุณครูเชียงชิงซึ่งเป็นผู้จัดการฝ่ายการตลาดภูมิภาคเอเชียแปซิฟิกจากบริษัท Zoho Corporation นะคะโดยคุณครูร่วมเป็นผู้นำกลยุทธ์การตลาดไปสู่ภูมิภาคและด้วยประสบการณ์มากกว่า 10 ปีในการบริการที่กว้างขวางในอุตสาหกรรมโลจิสติกส์และความปลอดภัยคุณครูใช้ความรู้หลากหลายทุกแง่มุมเพื่อให้คำแนะนำแก่ธุรกิจเกี่ยวกับโซลูชันซอฟต์แวร์นอกจากนี้เขายังเป็นผู้ร่วมอธิบายดิจิทัลในหลากหลายสัมมนาเพื่อสนับสนุนความสำคัญของการสร้างดิจิทัลค่ะ
Our first speaker is Mr. Khoo Ching, Regional Marketing Manager, Asia Pacific of Zoho Corporation, which Mr. Khoo has co-lead the go-to-market strategy that prioritizes product localization for the region. With over 10 years of extensive field service experience in both the logistics and safety industry, Khoo has used his multifaceted knowledge to advise business on software solutions. He has also contributed greatly to our industry with numerous invitations as digital panelists, advocating the importance of digitalization and how software solutions remain at the forefront of many recent digital implementation. So without further ado, let us invite Mr. Khoo to power start this session.
Thank you, organizers. So pleased to be here to be joined with other distinguished speakers. So I'm Khoo. So I'm joined together with my colleague Ikapot, who will be providing translation in Thai. Sure. Let me go to the next slide. And right now, the topic is about the power of automation. So let's take a look at working without automation. So in the days that when we work without automation, tasks cannot be completed without you being there. So there are things like situations like you're trying to look for a colleague, and sometimes your colleague also looks for you. And sometimes because of this remote work situation, and sometimes because of a business continuity plans, you cannot seem to be there, or your colleague that's supposed to work with you cannot seem to be there. So sometimes when the presence is not there, things don't get actually executed well. So let me share you that automation is not new, as well as marketing automation is not new as well. This topic has gathered interest over time since 2014, and because of the the situation we had last year, digitalization and automation have increased in the adoption. So maybe let me take us all back into AD 209. We go back in time, and this is how it goes. Back in AD 209, automation is used in warfare, in logistics, as well as in printing. So these are the type of automation you get in 209, AD 209. So regarding the Battle of Red Cliff, this is a naval battle that took place when the alliance of Shu and Wu need to defend against Wei. So there are some significant activities that happen in this battle. So there are two main problems faced by Shu and Wu against Wei, is that they have lack of ammunition, and Wei's cavalry is a formidable force made up of the biggest and strongest war horses. So one of the strategies that the alliance need was to overcome the arrows. Back in those days, the ammunition is arrows. So how the strategies of Shu is a person called Kong Ming, is a very famous strategist back in those days. So he used a strategy that actually borrows arrows instead of manufacturing them. So he purposely timed ships filled with straw men, and then he sailed these ships and trapped and lured the enemy to fire arrows at these ships. But it's well timed so that the enemy doesn't really know that these are the ships sailing. They are like a fixed ships because of the fog. So he did a very good calculation of the timing of the fogs, so that the ship was able to go across. So this collected a lot of arrows for the alliance. The next portion was that, though for those who understand the story very well, would know that there's a naval battle, and the naval fleet of Wei was actually being destroyed by a flash fire. And being a very seasoned warlord, so Wei actually had deployed a large land force, which is supposed to help conquer the alliance of Shu and Wei. And guess what? They deployed a formation to counter this enemy cavalry. So this is the formation that is being used to, lure the enemy into the killing zones. So what does these examples have in common? So these examples have something in common, which is the mastery of timing, collaboration, as well as execution. So let's return back to 2021, where you are in Thailand and I'm in Singapore. So right now we are in the modern days and the potential customers of business can be found everywhere. And why would I say everywhere? Because engagement is spread across multiple channels. Customers interface with us through a website, social media. It can be reached on email, even webinars like this, and events, and sometimes people may call you on the phone. The buyer's journey is also no longer linear. On the left side, you see that, you're supposed to create some awareness, and the people that after being aware of your brand or your products and services would probably go through the consideration phase. And then after that, they will go to the evaluation phase, and finally they'll make the purchase. But currently, prospects think and they react and they interact with other platforms simultaneously at the same time. So they may be doing an online search, and they may also considering your product through inputs at a peer referral website. And sometimes they may also go to social media to check you out, as well as check your competitors out. And they are also, taking a look at every kind of touch points, and they can make purchase at any point of time. So there's actually no fixation. They can close the sales at any point of time. They'll either buy from you or probably they can buy from your customer, your competitor. So this means what? This means that the modern marketing team needs actually very intelligent tools that can evolve with these changing expectations. So maybe as a marketer myself, let me share with you my own challenges as well as my team. So these are some things that fellow marketers share with me. So sometimes we need a single view of data. We need to have the ability to handle multiple channels. And we need to understand the effectiveness of each channel, as well as, we don't want to optimize the campaign so that we can constantly improve the campaigns, as well as to personalize the user's journey, because every customer or every user is different. And this is the best thing that we want to do. We want to automate the whole process. So can all of this be done? Maybe let me share with you in the later part of the presentation. So I'd like to come back to this part about, marketers like me, we are also humans, and like any other human, we are prone to disruption. So what kind of disruption are we talking about? So the disruption are like these, you can see that the photo on the left is like somebody who is feeling very lethargic, because humans, we are not like a robots. Every day is a different, and sometimes, even for myself, there'll be days that you will wake up feeling strange and sick, and imagine you need to perform some tasks at that day, high chance that you will be out of focus and you wouldn't be able to do too much stuff. And then traffic conditions and even weather environmental conditions can also screw us up at the last moment when we're trying to make some posts or create some email campaigns. So therefore, I want to share with you that we need to unlock this power of automation, because it's very crucial, because it overcomes a lot of physical barriers, like infrastructure limitations, adverse weathers. We can even automate things when we are not present. Like for instance, Zoho runs on Zoho. If I'm here with my whole team, in Thailand, Ikapot and Pimlada, we're trying to deliver a webinar, who will do our social media posts and who will send emails on my behalf? I really rely a lot about on marketing automation. Maybe let me share with you in the later slides. So in life, it's not just about overcoming limitations and and getting the job done. As business leaders, as marketers, we also need to care for our marketers, because they are hardworking people and they are very busy people. So maybe let me share a little bit about the company I come from. So I come from Zoho Corporation. So we are a technology company that has been around for more than 25 years. We have more than 45 different applications, serve we serve customers in more than 190 countries in the world. We have currently more than 60+ million users, and we are proud to say that we work remotely and collaboratively with 9,000+ of our employees. So we are an ecosystem. We have grown, from scratch. We didn't grow by acquisition, and this I'm very proud to share that these are our applications. But for the purpose of today's session, because I only have 30 minutes, so we'll cover the critical applications in the Zoho's marketing automation suite of apps. So perhaps let me go through my first, that app that is very closely used by me and my team is the Zoho Social. So, this is a typical time span, a marketer spend on social media posts in a month. So without using automation, you're going to spend more time, and you need to be there on public holidays to make the post. If this marketer is not going to post on, Christmas, you will never get anything on Christmas. So it's not only just about the timing, it's also about, the morale and whether the person can execute the task or many tasks in a timely manner. So we found that, hey, in Zoho, we have so many different applications. We have a lot of products, like what I shared with you previously. We have more than 45 different products. And imagine each product has a Facebook, a Google My Business, has a Twitter or Instagram account, or YouTube or LinkedIn. The product marketer wouldn't have time to eat and sleep. He will need to, plan all his social media posts, and he cannot go on leave or off on public holidays. So we overcome that with automation. So on the left is a depiction of, what happens if you do not have a lot of automation, or simply you do not automate things at all. So you move from tabs to tabs. For instance, if I have 10 brands, by the time I make the post to the 10th brand, guess what happens? That post maybe will be 10 hours late. It is like speaking to a customer. By the time you reach the 6th customer, the 7th customer would have waited for 6 or 7 hours. So this is not very ideal. But when you have automation, like what you see on the right, you can schedule the post, and the post can go out to multiple channels at the same time. And you also get analytics back at the same platform without needing to go through multiple tabs. And when you have bigger team, and when you have a larger team structure, you will also want to visualize the content pipeline, like what you see here, so that when is your colleague going to post? Is he going to take the 9 a.m. slot, or am I going to take the 9 a.m. slot? And because Zoho is like a transnational type of company, when I'm in Singapore, I use the Singapore time, which is like a 1 hour after Bangkok time. So if I'm going to work with my colleagues and I'm going to work with Thailand business, so how do I suit and coordinate this posting, and how can we have one unified calendar view so that we don't overlap our posts for the maximum efficiency? So this is what for people to visualize. Imagine your business doesn't have much automation. Guess what? This is what happens. You do not know whether it's a rabbit season or a duck season. So in a real situation, there will be some confusion within your teams. They'll think that, hey, right now I want to focus on privacy. The other team might say that, no, I don't want to focus on privacy. I want to focus on unified suite. And then guess what happens? They're not going to get some unified story across to your customers. So we also have engagement conversation with teammates, like what you see on this slideshow. So there's a way for teammates to discuss with each other and deconflict. And if there's always the requirement to meet, we can always have an online meeting at the go. So I've covered, my most favorite app. So we all understand that we come to the next portion, which is the email marketing applications. So in Zoho, we use Zoho Campaigns because email marketing is still, a wonderful way to make things work because it's a very stable and it gives very good ROI. And this is how it goes too. Similarly, a lot of marketers spend a lot of time on email campaigns because they need to design the template, they may need to think of the content, and also to plan for the audience segmentation. So there are some companies or maybe some businesses still using spreadsheets, but using a very old spreadsheets, and sometimes when you copy and paste spreadsheets, and some of us maybe are sending emails manually. So those are not very ideal because what happens, if you send a wrong person some promotion which is irrelevant to the person will feel that, hey, why are you sending me this discount? I already bought the product. So in Zoho Campaigns, this is an email marketing software that can help you grow your audience. So you can create a customized form to gather sign-ups so that you will get, you'll build your list, subscriber list, and when you want to send them email campaigns, you can even save time and to use ready to use the templates that we already have. Because I know as a marketer, sometimes designing templates from scratch, and it takes a lot of time. And by the time you're finishing a design, your competitor might be already getting the emails out. So that's not very ideal. So we will go with a product that has a ready to use templates like Zoho Campaigns. And if you really require some kind of minor customization, you can build your email templates your way. So you can even make certain edits like what you see in the slide, that you can change certain elements and even add fields without having to code. So there's no complex IT things behind this. So it's just a click and drag. And I would like to share one benefit of using email automation. Is about the send time optimization. You know that if you send emails, what is the point if your recipients don't open, or their best time to open happens to open an email coming from your competitor? So you do not want that. So having your campaign solution like Zoho Campaigns, slowly you can calibrate and get some insights to calibrate the best time to send, so that you can get the maximum impact out of your campaigns. So when you are dealing with marketing automation in the form of email campaigns, if you're not using automation, you'll be only sending out emailers, and then guess what? You need to do a lot of guesswork because you may not know, what is the bounce rate. You may not know, who opened your email, what happened. Are there unique clicks to your website? Are there any people who unsubscribe? So you wouldn't know if you're not using any automation. So this is not ideal, and when you cannot measure something, you cannot improve it. So next, this is one of our newest product, and it's a very advanced product. This is called Zoho Marketing Automation. So maybe let me spend some time here. So remember the story I told in AD 209 when I said that the alliance of Shu and Wu deployed a formation to counter the enemy cavalry. This is what happens if you follow the green arrows. Cavalry are being directed and diverted into mini segments inside this formation. So this is like the journeys of death, because when cavalry passes through some narrow alleyways in the formation, they are unable to defend on both sides, because it guides and counters them and make use of their strength to become their weakness. So this is what happens. So coming back to our example, so we know that the buyer's journey is no longer linear. But what if I tell you that Zoho Marketing Automation can actually guide and steer the prospect along a very personalized journey to ensure you get the best experience out of it. So maybe let me share with you how it works. So this is the lead information in the CRM, the customer relationship management system that we have. So this actually works well with Zoho's marketing automation. So if you take a look at the marketing lead text and the goals achieved, you know that this lead has a marketing lead score of 50 points. And this person have attended our webinar. He has attended a Zoholics, is our user conference. And this person have achieved some goals, like visited the events page, downloaded the ebook, so that we know that, hey, this lead is a very knowledgeable and educated lead. You don't need to talk to this lead about some basic features in some products. This person probably knows more than the typical salesperson. So this is the person that, hey, is a very interested customer, and our salesperson should engage. So I'd like to share that Zoho's marketing automation helps you guide prospects through a personalized journey. So people can discover your brand or your services on social media, where you can manage by Zoho Social. And if they find a post and a click to action to your website, probably you can even get them subscribed onto their mailing list, and subsequently through the mailing list, you can also use marketing automation to see how this customer interacts with your website, with your other elements on your offerings, so that that, hey, is this customer is high or low on the lead scoring. And then you can use this insights to calibrate the user experience. So these apps support Thai, Bahasa, Vietnamese, and even Mandarin. So and I'd like to share my personal story. In 2019, I was in the Sukusu. So using a hotel industry as an example, I'd like to explain marketing automation. So this is the pre-check-in promotions. So imagine before I check into the hotel, there's an email sent to me sharing with me, how to go to the hotel from the airport and what are the different choices. And if I can reach the hotel earlier, what are the other attractions I can, probably enjoy in the hotel. So a customer who is very prompt in opening the email and understanding the benefits of the email, the hotel's marketing, the CMO, the officer in the hotel, the marketing officer would know that, hey, this person is high on the lead scoring. This person probably uses an email often, and this is the person to send more emails to. And after I check into this hotel, they'll be able to find that, oh, okay, so Khoo is checking into this hotel on the 10th, and probably I should share with him, some of the very good attractions or the offers on the 11th and on the 12th. Maybe the hotel has a re-renovated or refurbished a swimming pool. Even though Khoo is don't care whether he swims or he doesn't swim, but you just want to bring this guest to have a view of the swimming pool. So that's when you can use this customized journey to better assist him. And then next, if this guy is a happy customer, he has finished your stay in the hotel, you want to do a post-checkout survey with him. And sometimes hotels, they have a very good reward system, but they don't want to reward every other customer. They just want to reward the best customers, as well as to get genuine feedback from this customer regarding his stay. So imagine this customer is a very responsive on email, and then this person might be the same person that, if you take a look at the slide, on the same day of the checkout, they may give you a response. And you can incentivize certain response. If it gives you a 5-star rating, telling you that, hey, your hotel is a real good place, you may want to give him some kind of vouchers for him to revisit your hotel again. So in that way, you'll retain a very loyal and happy customer. So this is my example. If I use the hotel as the hotel industry as an example for personalized journey, because we understand that the MICE and travel industry, hospitality industry needs a lot of help. That's why I know that Thailand is a very beautiful place for tourists. I hope that I can visit Thailand very soon. And marketing automation not just works on its own. is also seamlessly connected with the rest of the Zoho's app ecosystem. So there's no additional cost to get developers to integrate the products, because our products are actually built from scratch and most of them have a very good integrations among each other. And probably you might be thinking, if you're not a Zoho user or you haven't tried with Zoho before and you're using some other brand, is it okay or is it easy to integrate Zoho into your system to improve some of your functions? The answer is yes. So Zoho's marketing apps also work well and play well with many others. Like when I shared Zoho Social, we connect well with Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Personally, I use Zoho Social to keep a track of which of my videos are actually the most watched, so that we can produce content to help and our audience. So next, I just want to come back with a summary page to show that marketing automation is a very powerful business force multiplier, but you just need to unlock it. Because if you don't really put in the deep understanding to unlock these inner workings, you may be using some tools at a very surface level. So I just want to take this opportunity to encourage all of these us business leaders here and all the attendees that we have such a tool like what I want to show you. This is like a unified dashboard within Zoho's marketing automation. This can even show you what the lead insights and the distribution based on source, so that you can focus, you can use, divert your attention on those marketing channels that work best for your business, because all of our business are different. So some of us are very strong in advertisements, some of us are very strong in trade shows, etc. So this is how it looks like. It gives you a very good unified view. And probably attendees might be wondering, okay, so since all of these apps work together, do I need to buy all of them so that they work together? Actually not. If you are a company which hasn't tried any social media automation before, I encourage you to probably try with Zoho Social first, because I'm sure many youngsters in Thailand are very proficient with social media, because taking a look at the creativity of the Thailand youth and your marketing industry is booming. So Zoho Social, Zoho Marketing Automation, and Zoho Campaigns will be something that it will be very useful to you, and we even have it on the free tier. And if you are a solopreneur or you and your partner, you are like a two best buddies, you can even buy the Zoho One bundle, which is cost around 1,002 Thai baht per user per month. So guess what? Not only you get to use like 3 apps over there, you get to use the entire suite of 45 different applications. And then when all of these applications work together, there'll be no additional cost for you to consider. So you have one account management, maybe one direct line of support, and you don't need to worry about other things and just focus on growing your business. So I've come to the end of my presentation. I think I took up, yep, I'm on time. And I want to take this opportunity to show that without for automation, myself, Bert, and my technical pre-sales, Ms. Pimlada, wouldn't be able to be here, because we have a lot of email campaigns and social media posts that we need to go out even while I'm presenting. So I'm happy that automation worked well for Zoho, and I wish automation would work well for all of you guys. Thank you so much. I've finished my session.
สวัสดีครับผมเอกพจน์ชูเดชนะครับเป็น Marketing Consultant นะครับของบริษัทZohoนะครับประจำอยู่ประเทศไทยนะครับวันนี้นะครับต้องขอบคุณทีม DigiTech Thailand มากนะครับที่ให้เราเป็นส่วนร่วมของโครงการที่ดีๆอย่างนี้นะครับวันนี้นะครับZohoของเรามาพร้อมกับเวบินาร์นะครับในหัวข้อ Unlock Power of Automations in Marketing นะครับผมเมื่อตะกี้คุณครูก็ได้อธิบายเป็นภาษาอังกฤษไปแล้วส่วนวันนี้ผมจะขอสรุปเป็นภาษาไทยสั้นๆแล้วกันนะครับผมเพื่อให้ทุกคนได้ เข้าใจนะครับว่าpower of automation in marketing เนี่ยมันคืออะไรแล้วมันมีอะไรกันอะไรมันคือจุดเด่นของมันนะครับโอเคครับผมเมื่อก่อนนะครับถ้าเราพูดถึงว่าก่อนที่เรามีการใช้ระบบอัตโนมัติเข้ามาในชีวิตประจำวันของเราอะมันจะมีปัญหาหลายๆปัญหาเช่นสมมุติว่าถ้าเราลาพักร้อนอย่างเงี้ยครับผมแล้วเพื่อนร่วมงานของเราไม่รู้แต่ว่าเรามีงานนึงอะเหมือนกับเราจะต้องทำกับเพื่อนร่วมงานพยายามติดต่อเราใช่ไหมครับผมแต่ว่าเขาก็ไม่รู้เหมือนกันว่าเราไม่สบายแล้วดังนั้นเราจะทำงานร่วมกันได้ยังไงถ้าเขาไม่รู้หรือว่าเราไม่รู้ว่าเขาป่วยใช่ไหมครับผมดังนั้นระบบ Automation นะครับมันสามารถเหมือนกับช่วยให้เราเหมือนกับว่าคือทำงานอยู่ที่ไหนก็ตามสามารถทำงานด้วยกันให้มันเสร็จได้อะครับผมง่ายๆนะครับผมว่าอย่างนี้โอเคครับแล้วการทำงานระบบอัตโนมัตินะครับผมมันไม่ใช่เรื่องใหม่เช่นเดียวกับการตลาดแบบการทำงานแบบอัตโนมัติแบบการตลาดนะครับผมมันก็ไม่ใช่เรื่องใหม่เช่นกันเพราะว่ามันเกิดขึ้นแล้วตั้งแต่ปี 2004 หรือว่า 7 ปีที่แล้วคุณจะเห็นได้จากตามกราฟเลยนะครับผมว่าตั้งแต่เดือนมกราครับผมจนถึงเนี่ยครับเดือนFebruary อะครับผมเรทเขาคือการใช้ automation เนี่ยมันขึ้นมาเยอะมากเลยก่อนอื่นเลยนะครับผมอยากให้ทุกท่านนั่งทำ machine ไปกับผมไปในปี 2009 นะครับในปี 2009 นั้นน่ะระบบการทำงานอัตโนมัตินะครับผมมันเกิดขึ้นแล้วเพราะว่ามันมีความสำคัญในการสู้รบเช่นการระบบการทำงานอัตโนมัติเช่นการสร้างเหมือนกับเครื่องมืออุปกรณ์สู้รบต่างๆเครื่องมือการสื่อสารเช่นการพิมพ์หรือว่าจะเป็นการคมนาคมต่างๆใช่ไหมครับผมอันนี้นะครับเป็นตัวอย่างที่ผมอยากจะยกขึ้นมาพูดถึงนะครับก็คือในปี 2009 Battle of Red Cliff หรือว่าที่ทุกท่านรู้จักกันในไทยกันอย่างดีเลยก็คือ3ก๊กนั่นเองก็คือว่าเป็น battle เป็นการสู้รบระหว่าง3ภูมิภาคก็คือมีวูมีชูที่เขาสู้รบกับหวยใช่ไหมครับผมอันนี้เป็นการสู้รบที่มันค่อนข้างดังมากนะครับแล้ววันนี้ผมจะมานำตัวอย่างอันนี้มาพูดว่ามันว่าการใช้ automation เนี่ยมันเกี่ยวกับอันนี้ยังไงบ้างนะครับ2ปัญหานะครับที่ชูและวูได้เจอในการลบกับหวยคืออะไรปัญหาที่1ก็คือที่เขาเจอคือว่าชูและวูเนี่ยไม่มีกระสุน
Sorry, Bert. Yeah.
Yes.
I think you want to close your notes section. Maybe you want to show us some. Yeah.
Oh, here?
Correct. Yeah.
How?
Maybe you are showing us the wrong section because this is the slides with the notes. You want to show us the notes.
Exit?
Yeah. Then maybe click play.
Play?
Correct. Present. Yeah, correct. From the beginning is good. Yeah.
Okay.
So sorry about it. Yeah.
Okay, we sorry. ขอโทษด้วยนะครับทุกคนเรากลับมาที่ชูและวูต่อนะครับผมแล้วก็ปัญหาที่2นะครับก็คือว่าทหารม้าของอาณาจักรหวยเนี่ยเขาเป็นทหารม้าที่น่าเกรงขามมากเพราะว่าเขามีประสบการณ์เรื่องการรบแล้วม้าของเขาเนี่ยเหมือนกับผ่านการรบมาแล้วหลายๆครั้งใช่ไหมครับผมดังนั้นนะครับชูและวูเนี่ยได้มีคุณคงหมิงนะครับถ้าผมออกชื่อไม่ผิดก็คือว่าเขาเนี่ยเป็นผู้ที่วางแผนการนะครับโดยวางแผนการเรื่องขโมยอาวุธก็คือว่าขโมยลูกเหมือนกับ ขโมยลูกศรจากของเหวยนะครับโดยการใช้หุ่นไล่กาเนี่ยเป็นตัวล่อเพื่อที่หลอกชูและวูเนี่ยให้มายิงหุ่นไล่กาตัวเนี้ยเพราะคิดว่าเป็นคนแล้วเขาก็ใช้อันเนี้ยเขาก็ใช้ไอ้ทริคอันเนี้ยครับผมมาขโมยพวกลูกศรแล้วก็ใช้ขโมยลูกศรพวกเนี้ยยิงกับสวยทำให้การลบครั้งนี้ชูและวูเป็นผู้ชนะใช่ไหมครับผมแต่ว่ามันไม่จบแค่นั้นนะสิครับเพราะว่าเวยอาณาจักรเวยเนี่ยมีแผนสำรองก็คือเขาใช้เขาใช้ทหารม้าของเขาอะครับผมมาเป็นแผนสำรองในการสู้รบกับชูและวูแต่ว่าชูและวูยังฉลาดอยู่ตรงที่ว่าเขาได้วางแผนไว้ที่ว่าเขาจะวางแผนเหมือนกับว่าเขาจะนำทีมม้าทหารม้าของเหวยเนี่ยมาสู่เส้นทางแห่งความตายซึ่งอันนี้ก็ทำให้การวางแผนของเขาอะครับทำให้เขาชนะการลบของอาณาจักรเหวยครับผมเรามาดูกันครับว่าอะไรมันเป็นปัจจัยที่ทำให้การลบของชูและวูเนี่ยชนะต่ออาณาจักรเหวยนะครับผมสิ่งแรกเลยก็คือว่าเวลาคือพวกเขาชูและวูเนี่ย manage เวลาตัวเองได้ดีมากเขารู้ว่าช่วงไหนเขาควรจะลบช่วงไหนเขาควรที่จะเตรียมแผนเตรียมอะไรอย่างนี้ไว้แล้วใช่ไหมครับแล้วก็การทำงานร่วมกันที่มีประสิทธิภาพทำให้เขาเนี่ยชนะการลบครั้งนี้นะครับผมแล้วก็ปัจจัยที่3ก็คือว่ากลยุทธ์ในการที่พวกเขาเนี่ยได้วางแผนและเตรียมวางแผนไว้เพื่อที่จะเหมือนกับไม่ให้เขาตอบโต้กับอาณาจักรเหวยได้นะครับตอนนี้เราขอย้อนนั่งทำแมชชีนกลับมาในปีปัจจุบันก็คือ2021นะครับผมพวกเรารู้กันใช่ไหมครับว่า potential ของ customer ลูกค้าของเราที่ลูกค้าที่เขาน่าจะมาเป็นลูกค้าของเราครับมันมีอยู่เยอะทุกที่มากเลยคือแล้วเราจะมีวิธียังไงเพื่อดึงดูดความสนใจเขาให้มาเป็นลูกค้าของเราจริงๆแล้วดังนั้นเราจะเหมือนกับใช้วิธีใดในการดึงดูดลูกค้าเหล่านี้ให้มาเป็นลูกค้าของเราใช่ไหมครับผมโดยเราสามารถทำได้โดยการสร้าง engagement หรือว่าการมีส่วนร่วมกับลูกค้าแล้วสมัยนี้การมีส่วนร่วมของลูกค้าครับมันเป็นไปได้หลายช่องทางมากช่องทางที่1คือเราสามารถสร้างเว็บไซต์ช่องทางที่2เรามีโซเชียลมีเดียช่องทางที่3นะครับผมเราสามารถส่งเป็นอีเมลแคมเปญแล้วก็เราสามารถจัดงานเว็บนาร์อย่างที่พวกเราทำอยู่ตอนนี้ก็ได้นะครับผมหรือว่าจะจัดงานอีเวนต์และข้อสุดท้ายนะครับหรือว่าจะเป็นทางโทรศัพท์ได้เช่นกันการเดินทางนะครับผมการเดินทางของลูกค้าเนี่ยในปัจจุบันเนี่ยการแบบแพทเทิร์นของ behavior ของเขามันแตกต่างไปจากอดีตมากนะครับผมโดยดูจากทางขวานะครับก็คือว่าเดี๋ยวนี้มันไม่ได้เป็นแบบเส้นตรงอย่างเมื่อก่อนแล้วเดี๋ยวนี้ลูกค้ามีออปชันที่เขาสามารถที่จะเซิร์ชหาข้อมูลออนไลน์ได้สามารถถามเพื่อนได้ว่าเฮ้ยอันนี้ของอันนี้ดีไหมของอันนี้ดีไหมหรือไม่ดีหรือว่าเขาจะดูในแบบออนไลน์คอมมูนิตี้เช่นแบบถ้าในเมืองไทยก็ดูในพันทิปอะไรอย่างเงี้ยครับผมหรือว่าจะดูในโซเชียลมีเดียแต่ว่าถ้าเรามาดูทางด้านซ้ายนะครับผมเราจะเห็นได้ว่าลูกค้าครับผมเขาจะติดต่อกับทางเซลล์โดยตรงโดยเขาจะหาคำเหมือนกับว่าศึกษาผลิตภัณฑ์โดยการโทรหาเซลล์แล้วเขาก็จะมาพิจารณาว่าเขาจะซื้อดีไหมหรือว่าแล้วเขาก็จะมาประเมินว่า ว่าราคานี้ดีไหมเหมาะสมอะไรดีไหมแล้วก็ถึงเขาจะซื้อครับผมคือว่ามันเป็นอะไรที่มันเป็นเส้นตรงอะครับผมซึ่งเขาไม่มีออปชันอะไรได้มากมายเหมือนกับปัจจุบันดังนั้นนะครับ Marketing ผมว่าหลายๆคนในนี้นะครับก็น่าจะเป็น Marketing นะครับแล้วก็น่าจะทำงาน Marketing นะครับผมดังนั้นที่ Marketing สมัยใหม่อย่างเราอย่างเงี้ยเราจะต้องการเราจะต้องการเครื่องมือที่สามารถรองรับความต้องการของลูกค้าเหล่านี้ครับผมได้แล้วเราจะต้องแล้วอุปกรณ์แล้วเครื่องมืออะไรที่สามารถช่วยเรารองรับพวกนี้ได้ครับผมดังนั้นสิ่งที่ปัญหาที่มาร์เก็ตเตอร์หลายๆคนเจอนะครับผมก็คือว่าเราไม่สามารถรู้ข้อมูลเชิงลึกได้แล้วก็คือเรามีหลายๆ channel ที่เหมือนกับ social media channel อ่ะที่เราจะต้องดูแลมันมีหลายช่องทางมากแล้วเราจะต้องศึกษาแต่ละช่องทางเนี่ยให้มันดีอะครับเราจะสามารถทำยังไงได้เพราะมันมีหลายช่องทางเหลือเกินใช่ไหมครับเราจะต้องศึกษาทั้งหลายแอปพลิเคชันแล้วเราจะค้นหาเราจะทำแคมเปญยังไงให้มันเหมาะกับลูกค้าแล้วก็ปัญหาเรื่องการที่เราจะเหมือนกับศึกษาว่าอะไรจะเหมาะกับลูกค้าแต่ละคนเพื่อที่จะดึงลูกค้าแต่ละคนนั้นน่ะเข้ามาเป็นลูกค้าของเราแล้วเราจะเปลี่ยนวิธีการทำงานที่มันซ้ำๆซากๆเนี่ยให้มาเป็นระบบอัตโนมัติได้อย่างไรนะครับผมMarketing นะครับทุกคนก็เราก็เป็นมนุษย์เหมือนกันใช่ไหมครับผมก็คือว่าเราก็บางครั้งเราก็พบปัญหาต่างๆมากมายเช่นกันเช่นปัญหาเรื่องการทำงานหนักมากเกินไปเราเหนื่อยล้าจากการทำงานเราไม่สบายหรือว่าเครียดจากการรถติดแล้วมันทำให้งานของเราเนี่ยมันเลทหรือว่าจะเป็นภัยธรรมชาติหรือว่าในปัจจุบันเช่นโควิดมันเป็นอะไรที่เราไม่สามารถคาดเดาได้ดังนั้นเราจะมีวิธีการแก้ปัญหาเหล่านี้ได้ยังไงบ้างครับผมดังนั้นนะครับการที่เราใช้ระบบอัตโนมัติของในการตลาดนะครับผมมันจะช่วยให้คุณเหมือนกับเอาชนะสิ่งที่มันท้าทายที่คุณเจอในแต่ละวันได้อะครับผมเช่นแบบปัญหาเรื่องอากาศปัญหาเรื่อง physical อะไรประมาณนี้ครับแล้วก็automation นะครับผมมันไม่ได้จำกัดแค่ว่าเราจะทำให้งานเราเสร็จแต่ว่าเรายังเป็นห่วงสุขภาพของพนักงานเช่นกันเพราะว่าการทำงานของ Marketing แล้วก็แต่ละคนนะครับเราก็รู้ว่างานค่อนข้างเยอะใช่ไหมครับผมดังนั้นน่ะบางคนทำงานหนักจนเหนื่อยจนไม่สบายขึ้นมาอย่างเงี้ยครับมันก็ไม่ดีต่อการมันก็ไม่ดีสำหรับสุขภาพของเราดังนั้นเนี่ยการมี Automation มาช่วยเนี่ยมันก็ช่วยให้ Marketing ของเราอะครับผมเหมือนกับสุขภาพที่ดีขึ้นทำงานน้อยลงตอนนี้นะครับผมขอแนะนำบริษัทของผมก่อนนะครับบริษัทของผมคือบริษัทโซโหนะครับผมซึ่งเป็นบริษัทเทคโนโลยีนะครับผมหรือว่า SaaS Company เราทำงานมามากกว่า25ปีแล้วนะครับผมและเรามีทั้งหมดมากกว่า45แอปพลิเคชันแล้วก็มี190ประเทศทั่วโลกนะครับผมแล้วก็มีมากกว่า60ล้านคนทั่วโลกนะครับที่ใช้โซโหอยู่แล้วก็เราเป็นบริษัทที่ใหญ่นะครับผมดังนั้นเรามีพนักงานมากกว่า 9,000 คนทั่วโลกเช่นกันแล้วก็แต่ละแอปพลิเคชันของเราเนี่ยครับส่วนมากเราจะสามารถเชื่อมต่อซึ่งกันและกันได้และสามารถทำงานร่วมกันได้นะครับและนี่คือตัวอย่างของแอปพลิเคชันที่มาพร้อมกับโซโหนะครับมีทั้งหมดหลายๆแอปพลิเคชันหลายอินดัสทรีเลยเรามาดูตรงนี้ตามได้เลยครับว่าเซลล์ก็จะมีแอปพลิเคชันของเซลล์ Finance ก็มีแอปพลิเคชันของ Finance นะครับผมแต่วันนี้ผมขอโฟกัสเรื่องZoho Marketing Automation นะครับแอปพลิเคชันแรกที่ผมขอแนะนำคือแอปพลิเคชัน Zoho Social นะครับผม Zoho Social ดียังไงนะครับผมในกราฟอันนี้นะครับเราจะเห็นได้ว่าถ้าเราไม่ใช้ระบบอัตโนมัตินะครับ Marketing จะใช้เวลามากเกือบ30ชั่วโมงนะครับผมในการโพสต์ได้แต่ละเดือนแต่ว่าเมื่อเขาใช้ระบบอัตโนมัตินะครับมาช่วยในการโพสต์ของเขาเขาจะใช้เวลาน้อยกว่าใช้เวลาน้อยกว่า10ชั่วโมงในการโพสต์เขาสามารถนำเวลาเวลาที่เหลือเนี่ยเอามาคิดแคมเปญใหม่หรือว่าทำอะไรใหม่ๆได้ดังนั้นZoho Social ครับเป็นแพลตฟอร์มที่คุณสามารถดูแลทุกๆ Media Channel ของคุณนะครับไว้ในแพลตฟอร์มเดียวได้นะครับผมก่อนที่เรามีระบบอัตโนมัติกับหลังที่เรามีระบบอัตโนมัติใช่ไหมครับผมตอนที่เรามีระบบอัตโนมัติเนี่ยครับผมก่อนที่เรามีระบบอัตโนมัติเนี่ยเราจะต้องแบบพิมพ์จะต้องแบบเข้า facebook.com แล้วเราค่อยมาเปิดอีกอันนึงมาเปิดแต่ละแท็บแล้วเราก็ต้องบางครั้งเราก็ลืมโพสต์ของอันนี้ไปอันนึงแล้วก็ลืมอัปเดตของอันนี้กันมาดังนั้นมันก็กลายเป็นsend help me please ก็คือว่าช่วยผมที่แต่ว่าถ้าเป็นใช้ของ Zoho Social นะครับผมคุณสามารถดูแลทุกๆ channel ของคุณเนี่ยไว้ในแพลตฟอร์มช่องทางเดียวกันได้นะครับผมโดยการในทุกโพสต์คุณสามารถโพสต์ทุกโพสต์สามารถโพสต์1โพสต์ของคุณเนี่ยไว้ในทุกช่องทางของคุณโดยการกดแค่1คลิกเท่านั้นแล้วคุณยังสามารถวางตารางมองตารางได้ว่าวันนี้นะว่าเรายังไม่ได้มีอะไรโพสต์เราก็สามารถโพสต์เราก็สามารถเหมือนกับดูตารางโพสต์ของเราได้นะครับแล้วเรายังสามารถschedule meeting schedule post ของเราไว้ก่อนได้ว่าวันนี้เราอยากจะโพสต์วันนี้พรุ่งนี้เราจะอยากจะโพสต์แบบไหนเมื่อก่อนนะครับถ้าเรายังไม่มีแบบ automation นะครับเราไม่มีแบบระบบอัตโนมัตินะครับผมคือว่าต่างคนก็ต่างโพสต์โพสต์คนละแบบบางคนก็โพสต์คนละธีมก็คือดังนั้นมันเหมือนกับเราไม่มี communication ในการทำงานร่วมกันนะครับผมดังนั้น Zoho Social จึงมาพร้อมกับฟีเจอร์ที่เราสามารถพูดคุยกับเพื่อนร่วมงานก่อนที่เราจะโพสต์อะไรก่อนไปลงได้แล้วเราสามารถสร้างรีพอร์ตแล้วเราสามารถสร้าง engagement กับในคอมพานีและสามารถทำงานร่วมกันได้นะครับผมส่วนแอปพลิเคชันต่อมานะครับใน Zoho Marketing Automation นะครับผมก็คือ Zoho Campaigns ทุกคนก็น่าจะรู้นะครับว่าอีเมล Marketingเป็นส่วนหนึ่งของZoho เป็นส่วนหนึ่งของความสำเร็จของในการส่งข่าวสารให้กับลูกค้าของเราใช่ไหมครับผมดังนั้น Zoho Campaign เนี่ยจะมาช่วยให้คุณเนี่ยส่งอีเมลที่มีประสิทธิภาพให้กับลูกค้าของคุณได้นะครับอันนี้ก็เป็นอีกกราฟหนึ่งที่แสดงให้เห็นว่าในการก่อนที่เราใช้ระบบอัตโนมัตินะครับ Marketing ใช้เวลามากกว่า60ชั่วโมงใช่ไหมครับแต่ละเดือนในการส่งอีเมลแต่ว่าสำหรับใช้ Automation เนี่ยเขาใช้เวลานิดเดียวแล้วถ้าคุณเก็บพวกข้อมูลไว้ใน Excel หรือว่าไว้ใน Spreadsheet นะครับผมบางครั้งเราใส่ข้อมูลผิดทำให้ข้อมูลที่เรามีเนี่ยมันผิดพลาดได้คุณสามารถสร้างอีเมลครับผมแล้วคุณสามารถสร้างอีเมลที่สามารถดึงดูดลูกค้าโดยการสร้างเทมเพลตนะครับผมที่คุณสามารถสร้างขึ้นเองได้และคุณยังสามารถเซฟเวลาของคุณในการเลือกเทมเพลตที่คุณสามารถเลือกไว้ที่เราทำให้คุณไว้แล้วทำให้คุณเลือกได้ว่าคุณอยากจะใช้เทมเพลตไหนเพื่อดึงดูดความสนใจของลูกค้าเพราะบางครั้งลูกค้าก็ไม่อยากเห็นอีเมลแบบแพทเทิร์นเดิมๆเขาอยากได้รูปอยากเห็นรูปอะไรที่มันสวยๆที่ดึงดูดความสนใจเขาใช่ไหมครับดังนั้นเรามาพร้อมกับเทมเพลตพร้อมใช้เช่นกันแล้วคุณยังสามารถสร้างอีเมลเทมเพลตได้เช่นกันนะครับผมอย่างที่ผมได้เกริ่นไปแล้วก็ Zoho Campaigns คือเป็นมากกว่าการส่งอีเมลและการสร้างเทมเพลตดึงดูดลูกค้าใช่ไหมครับเพราะว่าเราสามารถดูข้อมูลเชิงลึกได้ว่าช่วงเวลาไหนที่ลูกค้า เปิดอีเมลของเราแล้วเขาเปิดแล้วเราสามารถดูได้ว่าช่วงเวลาที่เขาเปิดเนี่ยคือเวลาไหนแล้วเขาเปิดอ่านหรือไม่เปิดอ่านเราสามารถดูได้เช่นกันนะครับโดยเราไม่จำเป็นจะต้องเดาอีกต่อไปแล้วว่าเวลานี้นะคือว่าเวลาเนี้ยเป็นเวลาที่ดีที่เราจะส่งอีเมลหรือเปล่าเพราะว่าตอนนี้ครับสำหรับถ้าเราใช้ระบบอัตโนมัติเนี่ยเราสามารถรู้ได้ว่าเราส่งไปแล้วกี่เปอร์เซ็นต์มีกี่คนส่งไปแล้วกี่คนแล้วมี bounce rate เนี่ยกี่ครั้งแล้วก็มีการเปิดแล้วกี่ครั้งนะครับแอปพลิเคชันสุดท้ายนะครับที่มาพร้อมกับ Zoho Marketing Automation ได้แก่ Zoho Marketing Automation ก็คือชื่อเดียวกันเลยนะครับผมทุกคนจำexample ที่ผมบอกไว้ตอนแรกได้ใช่ไหมครับว่าที่ชูและวูได้นำทหารม้าของหวยเนี่ยไปสู่ความตายเพราะว่าเป็นช่องทางแบบนี้ครับเขานำช่องทางเขาลีดทหารม้าเนี่ยมาตามเส้นทางนี้แล้วแต่ละเส้นทางเนี่ยเขาจะทั้งสองฝั่งเนี่ยจะมีเขาเรียกหอกอะครับคือหอกเหมือนกับattack ทหารม้าทำให้เขาพ่ายแพ้ไปนะครับผมแล้วก็เช่นกันนะครับผมว่าเหมือนกับการเดินทางของลูกค้าครับผมการแพทเทิร์นของลูกค้ามันเปลี่ยนไปเช่นกันไม่เหมือนเมื่อก่อนอย่างที่ผมได้พูดไปตั้งแต่ตอนแรกนะครับผมเราสามารถสร้าง lead information เราสามารถสร้าง engagement ใน CRM ได้เช่นกันนะครับสามารถดูข้อมูลเราสามารถเอาข้อมูลพวกนี้แล้วก็ lead ไปที่CRM วันนี้และตอนนี้นะครับผมจะขอพูดถึง example นะครับที่คุณขูเขาได้ที่เข้ามาเมืองไทยในเมื่อปีจำไม่ได้2004ใช่ไหมครับเพราะคุณขูที่โรงแรมซูโคโซนะครับผมคือว่าวันนี้คือเราจะมาพูดว่าโรงแรมเขาใช้โปรแกรมออโตเมชันพวกนี้มาใช้กับโรงแรมของเขาได้อย่างไรนะครับผมโดยเขาสามารถดูได้ว่าก่อนที่คุณครูจะเช็คอินนะครับผมเขาสามารถส่งอีเมลหาคุณครูแล้วก็แล้วเมื่อเขารู้ว่าคุณครูอ่านอีเมลแล้วอย่างเงี้ยเขาก็สามารถรู้ได้ว่าคุณครูเป็นคนที่อ่านอีเมลบ่อยถ้าคุณครูอ่านอีเมลบ่อยเขาก็จะให้ lead score คุณครูเป็น25หรือว่าแบบถ้าคุณครูตอบกลับเขาก็จะให้อีก25คะแนนแล้วเราก็สามารถเหมือนกับส่งอีเมลที่เหมือนกับเป็น personalize ให้กับคุณครูเช่นมาโรงแรมวิธีการมาโรงแรมมาทางไหนได้แล้วก็มีวิธีทางไหนมั่งที่ถูกที่สุดที่มาทางโรงแรมนะครับผมแล้วก็เส้นทางของการเดินทางของลูกค้าครับมันยังไม่จบแค่นั้นเพราะว่าคุณยังสามารถระหว่างการพักครับผมคุณสามารถส่งอีเมลให้กับแขกที่อยู่ในโรงแรมของคุณว่าเช่นตัวอย่างเช่นคุณสามารถส่งเป็น recommendation ได้ว่าสิ่งที่คุณสามารถทำได้ว่าโรงแรมว่าขอโทษทีนะครับคือว่าร้านอาหารแนะนำที่อยู่รอบๆโรงแรมมีอะไรบ้างแล้วเรายังสามารถเอาข้อมูลพวกนี้มาสร้างเป็นแพ็กเกจพิเศษแล้วเราก็เสนอแพ็กเกจอันนี้เป็นอีเมลให้กับลูกค้าของเราหรือให้กับคุณครูนะครับแล้วก็การเดินทางของลูกค้าเนี่ยจะมาจบตรงที่หลังจากที่ลูกค้านะครับได้เหมือนกับว่าเหมือนกับได้เช็คเอาท์ออกจากโรงแรมแล้วใช่ไหมครับผมคือว่าโดยเราสามารถให้ลูกค้าเนี่ยกรอกเอกสารหรือว่ากรอกฟีดแบ็กต่างๆและเมื่อเขากรอกฟีดแบ็กต่างๆอะไรแล้วถ้าลูกค้าคนไหนเนี่ยมีฟีดแบ็กที่ดีเราก็จะให้คะแนนเขาแล้วเราก็รู้ได้ว่าลูกค้าเนี่ยครั้งหน้าถ้าเขามาเมืองไทยอีกเขาก็จะมาพักกับโรงแรมเราใช่ไหมครับผมนะครับผม Zoho Marketing Automation นะครับสามารถ สามารถเชื่อมต่อกับแอปพลิเคชันหลายๆอย่างได้นะครับตามตัวอย่างตามนี้เลยนะครับผมโดยเฉพาะ CRM ด้วยเช่นกันซึ่งเป็นแอปพลิเคชันที่ดังมากๆครับแล้วเรายังสามารถเชื่อมต่อกับแอปพลิเคชัน Third Party Application เช่นกันนะครับไม่ว่าจะเป็น LinkedIn Facebook หรือว่า Instagram นะครับผมแล้วก็เราสามารถดู lead เราสามารถดูเราสามารถเห็นแดชบอร์ดนะครับผมว่าดูว่าเราสามารถดูว่าเหมือนกับgeneral idea เหมือนกับว่าข้อมูลเนี่ยข้อมูลทุกอย่างที่เรามีเนี่ยอยู่ในหน้าเดียวได้ครับผมโดยเราไม่ต้องเปลี่ยนหน้าไปมา Zoho application นะครับบางครั้งนะครับคุณก็สามารถบางครั้งคุณถามว่ามันจะZoho application เนี่ยคุ้มไหมคือสำหรับผมนะครับ Zoho application เนี่ยถ้าเป็น marketing automation นะครับผมถ้าเราอาจจะเลือกใช้1แอปพลิเคชันก่อนเพื่อที่จะมาดูว่ามันจะมาแก้ปัญหาอันนี้ของเราได้จริงหรือเปล่าเช่นเราสามารถทดลองใช้กับ Zoho Social ก่อนก็ได้ก็คือว่าถ้าเราชอบจริงๆแล้วเราเหมือนกับเราZoho Social เนี่ยสามารถเชื่อมต่อกับแอปพลิเคชันอะไรหลายๆอย่างได้ดังนั้นเราจึงมาพร้อมกับ Zoho One Bundle นะครับซึ่งZoho Oneเนี่ยครับมีมากกว่า40แอปพลิเคชันนะครับผมซึ่งทุกๆแอปพลิเคชันเนี่ยสามารถเชื่อมต่อถึงกันและกันได้และคือแล้วราคาก็ไม่แพงคือราคาประมาณ 1,200 ต่อ1ผู้ใช้นะครับผมและนี่ก็คือแอปพลิเคชันที่มาพร้อมกับ Zoho One นะครับผมหลายแอปพลิเคชันเลยแล้วก็มีทั้ง HR แล้วก็มีทั้ง Office Suite มีทั้ง Sales อะไรพวกนี้เลยนะครับวันนี้นะครับผมก็ได้ใช้เวลาไม่รู้เหมือนกันนานหรือเปล่าในการพูดนะครับผมแต่วันนี้ผมดีใจมากนะครับที่ว่าให้ผมมาเป็นส่วนหนึ่งของในการให้เหมือนกับให้ทุกท่านได้รู้ถึงความสามารถในการใช้ Automation สมัยใหม่ได้นะครับผมเอกพจน์ชูเดชนะครับผมเป็นMarketing Consultant ของบริษัท Zoho นะครับผมถ้าใครมีวันนี้ข้อสงสัยประการใดสามารถสอบถามทีมเซลล์ของเราได้ก็คือน้องพิมรดานะครับที่ทำsales@zoho.com แล้วก็ผมคุณขูแล้วก็น้องพิมพ์ต้องขอบคุณเวลานี้ด้วยครับสวัสดีครับ
ค่ะก็วันนี้ต้องขอบคุณคุณครูแล้วก็คุณเบิร์ตมากๆเลยนะคะที่มาร่วมแชร์ประสบการณ์ดีๆในวันนี้ค่ะที่ทำให้ได้รู้ว่าความสำคัญของเวลาการทำงานร่วมกันการดำเนินการและวิธีที่ควรพัฒนาตามความคาดหวังที่เปลี่ยนแปลงไปของลูกค้าเพื่อนำไปปรับใช้กลยุทธ์ทางการตลาดค่ะ
Thank you, Mr. Khoo and Khun Bert, for your insightful sharing.
Thank you.
And I would like very much about how you use the WAR strategy to illustrate the importance of timing, collaboration, and execution, and how we should then evolve with the changing expectation of our customer, along with all the personalized marketing tools that is powered by Zoho Corporation.
ค่ะในช่วงถัดไปนะคะจะขออนุญาตแนะนำวิทยากรท่านถัดไปนะคะคือคุณสุภาวดีตันติยานนท์นะคะอุปนายกสมาคมผู้ใช้ดิจิทัลไทยค่ะกับการบรรยายในหัวข้อสิ่งที่ควรระวังเพื่อหลีกเลี่ยงความล้มเหลวทางการตลาดอัตโนมัติค่ะ
Next, we would like to welcome Ms.Supavadee Tantiyanon, Vice President of Thai Digital Technology User Group Association. Just like Mr. Khoo, Ms.Supavadee is a practical marketeer who believes in data, insight, measurement, and execution at the right time, and most of all, an understanding of the customer experience to bring out the best result. She loves to observe, articulate, and also plan for the relationship quest to see if her hypothesis is working or not. And she believes that brand cannot achieve its sustainable goal without engaging and collaborating with customers. Today, she will share her insight on a very interesting topic on what we need to watch out to avoid marketing automation failure. We all know it's good to learn from success. However, it is even more important that we learn from our failure. Therefore, please allow us to hand over the floor to Ms.Supavadee to begin her presentation.
Okay, สวัสดีค่ะ How you all doing today virtually? I hope we can be like more face to face, but okay, given the situation right now, okay, we do via Zoom. First of all, I would like to thank for the kind introductions and thanks again for inviting me and to represent Duga and speak today. Okay, what we're going to be covered in the next 30 minutes also. I understand that like a lot of audience also in Thai. So along with my presentations, I will have like a, well, briefly caption back in Thai okay, from time to time. Okay. With the COVID-19 situations, I think we are all in the same situation around the globe. We have been hit pretty hard. And in the bad way, we are struggling. Okay, even now, okay, we have to work from home and not being able to go out that much anymore. Okay, and if you go out, you have to wear masks, so on and so on, right? So that's the negative side, the flop side. But then if you look into another side, a lot of things happening in the last 1.5 years as well. Because of the COVID, it's been like hitting everyone hard globally and also forced us to move into like speed up when it get into the digital transformation, okay, for all in every industry in all countries. So yes, we have to survive. We have to move fast and faster, okay. What I have to prepare for you guys is that, okay, in the next, let me share my screen first. Okay, you can see my screen now, right? Okay. I think what in the next 30 minutes, I will share some of the thought on marketing automations, not deeply in the technology side, but rather on well, why it failed and how we can work out to avoid the failures and make it success. Okay, let me introduce myself a little bit. Like, let me give me like 2 minutes. Okay. First of all, who is Duga? What is Duga stand for, and what is really work? How does really work? Okay. Sorry. Duga Association stand for Thai Digital Technologies User Group Association. We have founded the association back in 2019, just a little bit before COVID-19, actually. Well, who are we? We are from the private sectors. Okay, we have a group of people that have been using digitals from the front end and also top management, and also from the people who are really being like a techie technology side. We are formed as a group, put together and say, well, actually, for the digital transformations, if we want to move ahead, it cannot be only signed by the technologies and purely technology, group of people. It has to be really like a gang of mixture of the group of people who are coming from business science, management, operations, actually from all departments in a way, and from cross sector as well. So that's how we put the thought together, and then we have formed the association to serve that. Okay, and what are our aims? Our aims are to be the enabler, helping the private sectors and the government sectors to work together, to collaborate and create hopefully to create a better ecosystem for Thailand, okay, for the digital user group in Thailand. So in the past 2 years or 1.5 years, we have been work very, very closely with the Ministry of the Digital Economics, the Ministry of Digital Economics and Society, so that we can create a network and joint functions for helping the Thai digital user group to upskill and reskill for different, sectors. So we have done a lot of webinar, seminar, and also some of the executive format of briefing meetings that we can exchange the idea. That's what you go for. And how briefly about myself, as Kun Wing has introduced me, I classify myself as a free mind marketing practitioner with my background, which coming from both client sides. I was with FMCG's Unilever company before as a brand manager, and then I moved on to the agency side for many years, and been in the food services, hospitalities, and also taking a job as a regional consultant around Asia Pacific. So I've been looking into, I've been working on the really branding side, marketing side, technology side, and as a middleman to serve business and the technologies. So this is quite interesting to be talking about, well, if you want to make marketing automation and how we can prevent it to be failed. So what I'm going to be covered for today is that actually what is it and why does it fail? Okay, and how can we make it work? That's will be three things that I would like to share with you today. Well, I think what we are now today is that we are in the consumerism era, and it has been changed a lot in the last 10 years, that shifting values from on the manufacturer side, on the branding side, that we, as a business, we are doing more like direct to consumer, or even, more directed. Now it's not that anymore. The value has been changing from the manufacturers to the consumer's hand. Okay. And we have a complex world. We're living in a complex world, and like complex decision making as well. People are not just looking at the TV commercials and then go to the shops and buy things, or look at the magazines. No magazine, not, I don't really see much printed magazine or newspaper anymore. So it's on and offline, interchange, interchange all the time. And there are a lot of new engagement expectations. So actually, all in all, consumers are in control. Why I'm saying that? Because if we look at, what is marketing in 21st century, it has been shifted into more like a connected world, but connected in a way of really connect. Originally, we were living in a 1.0, marketing 1.0, world. And it was a traditional, so called traditional marketing, one-way communication. People see ad, go out, influence, like the ad, and go out and then buy things, mass. Then when the internet start to come into life, called 2.0, and that is two-way communication. There are consumers who become more online, but still not majority. During that day, it was still like, oh, it's for the youngster, okay, younger group, younger generation who are now in Gen X and Gen Y, okay, but back then they were young, and that's because they are online, okay, it's two-way communications. There are some dialogues that exchange between brand and the consumer. Okay, just pause in there, meaning data has been transferred and been collected, during that time as well. And then I think 10 years ago, we started, now we are in 3.0, marketing 3.0. So we are living in a connected world, connected consumer. And if, most of you are out of management and also in marketing as well, you have been, looking into your marketing strategy. I'm sure that you will put in, I have the always on strategies to put in place. Okay, and that would be like content and then the media planning and how you're gonna collect data from the consumer. So yeah, we were living in 3.0, always on, always connected. But that's what very short, because we were talking about it heavily 5 years ago, 3 to 5 years ago, I would say that. Where are we now? We are like in 4.0, getting into 5.0. And what is the 4.0? 4.0 is like, well, okay, the technology is even smarter, right? It's not only connected between the internet, the online, it's like everywhere, wireless, okay, it's everywhere. Anything that have the signals can be transferred, then things happen. So it's more spiral and it's connected to IoT and it's inclusive on socials, okay? So now you have a smarter home, you have a smarter light bulb, you have, like all many home appliance start to be more, smart, and it's connecting with you, with the consumer. Consumer can do things via their mobile. We have a smart car, right? We have smart home, smart light, many smart things around us. So it's interconnected consumer. What's happening from 1.0 to 4.0? As you can see it here that, oh yeah, the one thing that in common along the way is the data. And also once we have the data, right, the things that sit behind the data is the process. And definitely it's the technology. I still remember when I first started to work on the CIM program and building the database system for one of the for first FMCG company like Nestle. That was like 20 years ago. And at that time, we were talking about 1.5, roughly about 18 months from scratch, from day one, that, okay, we put all the requirement together and then really building up the database structure, the database system, the hardware, the software, and the communication system that plug into it. It was 18 months and then another 18 months to really, learning from it and make it run. So we're talking about 2 to 3 years. Okay. About 15 years ago, I was working on a similar project on automobile. We have to do the CIM program for them. We have to do the database marketing, the system communication, and also the whole process on managing the customer for one of the automobile company. Oh, it took us like much faster. But again, we're talking about 6 to 12 months. Okay, and it's cheaper as well in a way, by the way. And now, what's happening now is much faster. You can have like a lot of things happening, off the shelf and even at real time right now. If you have data, you can plug in, buy the software, and then get the start of working on it. Okay, so that is something that along the way, I would say the component are the same, the process technology has changed from 1.0 to 4.0. How about the consumer? Consumer is like, wow, they really have the power, okay? They are demander. They demand real time. Everything has to be now, okay? In Thai, I would say เดี๋ยวนี้คนเป็นณบัด now นะคะ คือ real time. I want everything in this second. I cannot wait anymore. 2 to 4 weeks, nope, that's bad, okay? 1 minute, probably not that good as well. So that is how consumers feel. They want to have the real-time service. They want to have real-time answers, okay? So that, you have to understand them, right? So that's how they are. And on the second point that they are so doing and then demanding as well is that, okay, marketers, you have been asking me a lot of information. So you know me, right? If you know me, you have to be able to, like personalize your offerings, your services, even know me as a person, not just, dear customer. It has to be a dear Supavadee with a lot of information that making me like a friend or people that you know me. And the third part would be, okay, since you know me and I know that technology can do it very, very well, right? You should serve things that relevant to me. I feel bad, if like sometimes like a good company with a lot of data, especially if since I'm in this field as well, they are really like, well, sending some email, some SMS to me and not offering the right thing for me. For example, the credit card company, they have been selling, names and stuff to many of the agents and representatives. So they're just selling name and contact details. Okay, they don't really utilize the information at all. I'm still single, and I will get mad, like quite a lot if the credit card company contact me and trying to sell to me the products that with like, because I'm the woman, they assume that at my age I should have the kid already. In fact, in the information that they hold about me, I am still single. So that is like, I did get that sort of thing, from time to time because of the bad planning on the marketing side and bad planning on using the data. So consumer want thing that to be relevant. Relevant to me, if you know me, you should, send stuff that relevant to me. Okay. And with the AI enhancements, right now as a technologies, there is no excuse that the brand doesn't really has the ability to do this thing. Last one, this is quite tricky a bit. Consumers are so picky, right? They want things to be authentic. It has to be real. Okay, you cannot just claim to be beautiful, claim to be good, but then you don't deliver it. Right now, they have the power to expose you as well. So things have to be real, have to be proven that it's working the way that you promised them. So first, you have to understand the consumer, and then you can then make it, move it further. If that's so, then what's happening? Because you have to deliver experience and deliver the good experience, meaning the new approach. Data is the goal, okay? It's the new currency. Everyone in the business leader talking about is that data is the new currency. It's the new goal. And what is data? Where data come from? Data is a voice of consumer. It's how you look at your business and how you correct from them and how you learn about them. That's need a lot of planning. That's need a lot of thinking before you collecting it. Otherwise, it's going to be a garbage. Okay. Why we need that? Because understand them and adapt. Okay, we need to understand and adapt to the right person, right place, and right time to make it more relevant. And how? Okay, meaning once you know a lot more about them, you get the insight, then you can design the content that like really trigger and make them move, make them act. So the content is how the brand, how the marketer react or respond to your consumer, to your customer. And by doing that, with the aim that you have to put as part of your plan is to, build a great experience and deliver across all touch point. Okay, we don't really talk about just a website or Facebook or Twitter or IG. When you look at, you have to look at the whole, contact points that consumer can contact with the brand. Okay, so these are the key things that I want to open up, before I move on. About a month ago, I have a chance to teach for the master degree students who are already working. Okay, they are like study part-time but then working full-time. And one of the questions that I asked them is that, how does COVID-19 affect my life and my work? And these are the word cloud, through the word clouds questionnaire. These are the words that they are put out, that how they feel right now. I think it probably changed a bit after we are starting getting, like in Thailand, we start getting vaccine 3 days ago, right? So probably this will change a bit, but I would say 90% still valid. If you look at it, okay, they are talking about technology. They're talking about how you're going to be like reaching the customer, okay? How you're going to get a better responses from the audience. Okay, they are working in the digital marketing. They are working in the communication. Some of them are brokers. Some of them are the productions, the video productions, crew. Okay, and so it's quite relevant to marketing. I would say that they are the front line. Okay, and then they talk about their pain point when it's get into as a personal, as lonely, pleasure, new lifestyle. And yeah, they recognize that the customer behavior has changed and we need to have the direct communications that put up to them. So actually, I have the same question to the undergrad student like a week before this one. And when we're talking about to Gen Z, they are probably different. I mean, surprisingly, I forgot to put it up here, but surprisingly, if look at those, informations from the like insight and pain point from the younger generation, they are more tense, they are having more pressure. They're talking about the pressure on the income and the money as well. But all in all, people are frustrated. People hate to be, keeping out of the socials. So that's how consumers are at the moment. My question to you guys is that, do you really know this? How do you take it from the consumer? Have you start to think about, okay, if they are like this, because you are doing some, I would say this small research, by the way, and looking into the services that you can help making a better content, more interesting content, or even new services that could help them, save their pain. I think that would probably be some step that you can, go back and take a look and see how you can do that. All in all, I mean, the reasons I put up here is that I think marketing automation is the process, it's software, the platform, right? Before we get into that, we have to look at the customer because they are the one that paying us the money, the real revenue that we got it from customer. So everything starts with customer, and the customer experience would be the key. So I think what is it exactly for the CX is the how do customer perceive their interactions with your company, and not just the brand itself. The brand has to be there, really important. But then when it's getting into how the brand or how your products or services, means to the customer. Is it mean usefulness, usable, or enjoyable? That would be something that you have to go back and then look at your brand, because it's quite crucial that once we get into that and get more information and get insight, it helps when you get into strategy and planning for your marketing plan. Why I'm saying this? Because when we look at the principle of marketing, everyone knows, it's 4P. Okay, we studied, 30, 40 years ago, Professor Philip Collar talking about 4P. Okay, I'm still remember that. 2 weeks ago, I had a chance to, by the way, Professor Philip Collar is now in his 90 years old. Okay, he just got his birthday last week, and he has a speech for the Marketing Association of Thailand about a week ago. And he started to talk about more about not just 4P. Okay, we are in the marketing 5.0. We have to be really looking into the stakeholder, to consumer, how they feel and what the benefit that we could bring, to them. So what I'm doing here is that I'm putting into a formula. We have 4P still there: product, price, place, and promotion. But then if we look into more, who are they? Okay, and what would be the deliverings or benefit, both emotional and functional, to that part. We have to look at the solution for the customer. We have to look at the cost. Okay, we are living in the budget is constrained. They're limited, and we cannot just being like luxury like before. Perhaps in the next few years. So cost would be key one, definitely. But then can we turn the cost into solution for consumer, the benefit to consumer? With the 4P, then 4C. 4C would be solution, customer solution, costing, convenience, and communications. Okay, and then on the soft side, okay, looking to 4E. 4E would be, do we really know what the consumer expect? Can we reach their expectation or even get beyond? When it's get into the solution, could it be excellent, not just okay? Okay, and if we are now just okay, can we push, and get into the excellent point? And all in all, branding, marketing, we have to have, like the top of mind is that we are delivering a good experience for the consumer. So how can we do that? Are we doing good enough? So that's another E, the third E. And the last E is about emotion. We want them to love us, to love the brand. So when you put into your plan, you have this 4P, 4C, and 4E as part of your plan that will help to really depict on the next thing. Okay, I'm touch on the marketing automation in a few minutes. Okay, and then this is a foundations for what we should have in mind even before step out, and then really making the investment on the new technologies to be put in place. So having said this, what we need, okay, I would say we need to have a seamless customer journey, okay, and by doing that, it's so easy. We look into 5A strategy models, and then the technology will be part of it, okay. Why we have to do that? Because we are living in the new paradigm in marketing, and disruption is made. Why? Customer in control. They want things like right now, okay, real time, and we have to focus on how to engage with the customer, okay, and it's like just like it's not one way, right? And actually it's not two ways. It could be a collaboration between you and the customer and all the stakeholder and put it together, okay. And number two is, I think, is we have to look at the contact point, not just media channels, because all the customers' contact point, that would be the touch point that you interact with the consumer. It could be a place where you serve them better. It could be the place that you collect data from them. It could be the place that you convert them into buying your product, getting more of your services, so that you have to draft that up, okay? And then once you got number one, number two, right? Then you can think about the technology that can serve and integrate all of this, together. The third one is about the funnel, okay? Funnel still there. I think Mr. Khoo was mentioning about it's more complex, it's not linear, it's more spiral, which is all true. I could not make my presentations into 3 days. I'm not artist enough, but then actually if I put it together, it doesn't really starting from awareness down to advocate as it's before as a linear. It's not linear. It's interact, happening sometimes 2 or 3 tasks at the same time, okay? So yes, we still have to work through the funnel, but it's the new funnel way. It's a new, real way to look at the funnel, because it's like interact, with brand, between brand and the consumer, a long time, and then a lot of data coming in, and you can learn and even move it faster, okay? And for the media part, okay, paid on earn is not new. I just like grouping it together to make it clear that it's there, right? So if you look at the list, you can see how you plan, and with a lot of automation, with a lot of tools from the media part. Okay, media also have the media tech as well, right? Martech also including on the media part. It will be part of the input and output that plug into your marketing automation. Okay, so it's there, and it's depend on the brand and the requirement that would need from the brand. And last but not least, about listening. Okay, social is a big part in the world. Okay, it is good, and also it could be, you can use it as a weapon, and you can be also hit by it as well. So listening has to be part of your plan, part of your journey as well. So yeah, I mean, I already have 30 minutes, so I cannot go through in detail for each one of this. And why I'm saying this, because if you look at, once we got that part in place, we look into how digitals can can reshape every aspect of the modern enterprise. It's more like marketing automation is not just sit in the marketing department anymore. Okay, it's a part of how you run the business. So it's part of the enterprise. It's not just part of the marketing department. First, starting with the consumer. Yeah, we know more about the consumer. We plan to connect with them. And by doing that, if you have a good, if we have a good, how you put it, like analytics part, it could help possibly that it could help you to do the innovations for your product, your services, or even, your like, okay, new services or new products or additional value for your product. But that would be done only if you know the customer very, very well and you spend and you test on it. And for the second part is distribution and marketing and sales is like business as usual in a way, but yet again with the digital transformation in place and with the plug-in for marketing automation, it helps marketing to do a better job when it's getting to ROI. That would be the key one. Right now, we don't have unlimited budget to burn. So we have to really make sure that every penny, every star, every baht that we're spending or invest have to get some return. So that would be something that you have to look at that as well. Digital fulfillment. Okay, in some of the business you say, well, probably it's not really, in it, but no, it is part of your business process if you really look into it. If you are doing the e-commerce, it's definitely part of it from end to end. You selling the product, advertise the content, and get people to interest in it, close the sales, deliver it. And along the way, you need to have some communication, whether it's going to be on email, online, on even Facebook to a certain extent, or even, in any kind of, interaction between you and the brand. Between brand and the consumer. So that would be something that you have to be part of your thinking and the plan. And yeah, for this, since you have the total system in place, you will have enough data, right? So that could help to the company or the enterprise to perform the risk optimization. It improves targeting with consumer insight. It embed and automate control and list profiling. If you do something wrong, you know where it went wrong, so then you can improve next time. And last but not least, it enhancing the corporate control. So if you're selling this to the CEO, and that would be the key part, okay? Invest, you get better ROI, you get a better process, you get learning from your mistake, and all in all, you please the customer. So if you please the customer, you will get your better sales. And the team that are working on it, enjoying it, and you feel like you have the added value to the enterprise, then the company will gain it all in all. Professor Philip Kohler has been really putting this, as emphasized for his Marketing 5.0 books as well. Why I'm saying all this, I think right now we are living in a more complex world. If you look at the digital transformation part, we have a lot of digital technology disruption coming in, and then it's helped to create a new model. It helped to create a new market and change the process and models, and also change the new behavior. I think we've been talking about this for years, but I think in the last 18 months, I see more in real life, that really happening, and we can feel it even on the basic thing. Well, 8 weeks ago, it's been since Bangkok started to really have to get into the work from home again. I start ordering a lot of fruit directly from the farmers in the, and I feel more fun and quite interesting. I don't really buy the cheaper things direct from farmer, but nevertheless, I kind of feeling, oh yeah, it's good. And farmer get more money, and plus I get more fresh product as well. Hopefully, and that's still like very basic, very like, you know, pretty much I would say manual things. Hopefully, we will get into the sense of, you know, they can also enjoying and get into this kind of system, get into the marketing automation that they can do a better job as well. So yeah, digital just technologies disruption is everywhere and happening, and it will go fast. So if you don't really get into it, get the feel of it, learning from it, invest in it, that's going to be tough to be survive in the next, you know, after recovering from COVID, that's really happening in the next, maybe have 2 or 3 quarters. So what is it exactly for the automation? All in all, well, I think marketing automation is a software platform designed for marketing to do a better job for effective, you know, marketing, planning, executions, and helping marketing to do a better job when it's getting into delivering the communications, delivering the services to the consumer, okay, and help to manage, you know, multiple channels as well, on and offline. So I put into action and result. In terms of the actions, it helped marketing automation come in, and it helped marketers to be able to do a better job when they get into customer segmentation. It's getting into the data management, better in terms of CRM and loyalty program. When you get into CRM loyalty program, you need some tools, some platform, some technology to help you out. You cannot do it manually. I think that doesn't work. Omnichannel, this is quite, you know, it's a bit tricky, but it's challenging as well. Is that now people are doing on and offline, right, simultaneously. So how can we capture them both live, physical and online, on digital? I wouldn't even say online anymore. Okay, so it's like digitals and physical. How virtual life, and then the physical life. How can we connect both? We at Duga, we have the program called U Power. Every year we have like giving the brief to the student, you know, in university in Thailand, and briefing in the real case that, well, this is from brand, okay, from the sponsor brand, and they get the real case from the brand and asking them to do a digital marketing program for the target group, like, you know, for Gen Z. And in the last 4 or 5 years that I've been working on this project, I found it's like surprisingly, I mean, from the agency side, you know, it's quite interesting that the brief was about digital marketing, but what we got back is that yes, digital marketing is a core thing, but the actual plan and actual execution was a combination of physical and digitals. And when I asked the student, they'll say, well, hey, you know, we are living in their life, we are living in both life. So we need to connect both. And that's just like, that was the first year, like 5 years ago when I was working on this. And I was, oh, wow, very smart and then very interesting, because when I'm talking to my client, or even, you know, when I was running the agency myself, it's like, we are still, you know, having our head dividing on and offline, right? We have digital team, we have offline team, and they don't really work together. But the Gen Z, they are the digital generation. They say, well, hey, you know, the phone is a phone. There's no such thing as smartphone. Yet smartphone is the name from Gen X, not from the Gen Z. They're born with it, right? They're born with the iPhone, well, or the digital phone, right? So they kind of swipe and then they click, and that's something that they are part of it. They are not really living in analog anymore. So it's not smart, it's just the phone for them. I think that's just, we have to relook at how we organize, you know, our organization as well. Okay, then we look into campaign management. Okay, once you have like a lot of, you know, multi channels, multi content, you have a lot of data, you have to also manage the campaign. And how are you going to manage the campaign without the tools or automations that come in and help you to manage it? Manage it, not enough, right? You have to get the insight. So how you can analyze it? And on top of that, once you have enough information, have enough talent, you also get into the smart system, AI coming in place to help. Can it also help you to do some predictive models to really, get into step ahead from, for consumer servicing or even offerings to the consumer? This won't happen by just buying the software. It will happen if you really, get into it, sunk into it, have the strategy, have the plan. So as a result, marketing automations provide marketers with ability to offer real-time, targeted, data-driven campaigns along with efficiency and productivity enhancement. So that will be like, I wrap it up in one page to say that, well, okay, this is happening. But having said all this, it's still, if you look into, if you Google it and you look into talking to the marketing practitioners, you say, well, it doesn't really work for me. Why? And how? Okay, so I gathered some insight from marketing practitioners a while ago, not that long, but then a couple months ago. And then, well, the question is simple as well. Why does, marketing automation fail? A lot of, what coming up. The key one would be lack of strategy, lack of leadership, lack of planning. Yeah, the big size. But yeah, and then I got, okay, I'm trying to summarize it. So I put it up, on the two sides. So actually, starting from that, we don't really have a clear objective to start with. And then no clear objectives and no strategy. Jump into the executions, jump into the technology and the execution without plan. You will be failed. Okay, you need to have the objective, you need to have a plan. Okay, and it just is, again, it's not enough, right? So there's another part that you really need to look into. It's a process. A lot of people also saying that, oh, and there's no process in my company. Sorry. Okay. And some will say, well, I don't have enough tools. Okay. I don't have enough resources. My people or my team doesn't really understand the technology. They are not equipped into it. They are still traditional. Okay, that would be like more inside on that. And okay, the crucial one on the top, it will be, oh, we don't have the budget. Since COVID time, the budget has been cut. So this is also, slim chance of moving ahead or getting the advance when it get into marketing automation. Some company will say, I don't have enough data. I don't have data at all. Okay, I always ask the audience about, on the scale 1 to 10, how do you rate yourself when you get into the data in your company? The average that I got from, I would say, all the sessions that I've been talking with, it will say about 6 to 7. Never really get, on the average. Okay, rarely that I would say 8 or 9. Okay, so a big gap there. Even big corporation. Okay, bad executions. Okay, there's some say, well, okay, we done it. We have a good, very expensive and good marketing automation platform, but then it doesn't work. When you get to execution, is flop. Okay, you have to look into why, and then it maybe look into the execution itself. That do you really look into the insight? The creative is not good enough, or the insight is bad, or the data is bad. So we have to look into that. And under skill, okay, my people doesn't really understand about it. I've been working for one of the major company, and they have a very, they have invest heavily. Okay, it's a global company. So the global team has invested heavily when they get into marketing automation. So as an agency, we are lucky enough to be part of the team. So they get us into the training as well. And with the global team, okay. So we get into the training, so on and so forth. But then when it get to execution, the budget was cut locally. Okay, and so you don't really have money to do much. And the data is really scattered. That's big challenge. So at the end of the day, when it's getting into, even you have a riding Porsche, but then you cannot run, the street doesn't really good enough for you to take up to 200 kms, per hour, per minute, as such. So that would be something that a challenge for when it's get into the operation part. Why? Because there are a lot of barrier to change. Strategy in silo, okay, and when it's getting to this, I think marketing automation doesn't belong to marketing department only. It belongs to the enterprise, it belongs to the company. So you have to talk to your CEO and then, trying to get this up into the management as well. Okay, so that's don't work in silo. There's a lot of politics when who owns data and which part of the data that people own, and they keep it separately. They don't talk to each other. So that happened in many organizations. And the budget allocation, okay, when you get into this, it got cut, okay, it's not enough. So yet again, if go back to number 1 and number 2, you have to manage that through first, okay. The fourth one is about the mobile fragmentations. So right now you have to look into your plan, and it has to be mobile first, okay. When you go to digital, it's not digital as online anymore. It's okay, I would say it's comprehensive, but yes, focus on mobile, okay. Education, train your team, upskill your team, and there's a big gap, but we have to be there, okay, in order to survive. We cannot say, well, we are offline, we are too old, we are really like not tech savvy. There's no such excuse anymore for anyone. Leadership, this type of program, you have to be a clear who are going to be leadership who really believe in it, okay. And data, yes, definitely data could be disparate, but I'm sure that if you really go back and look into your company process and the data structure, the data itself, it sits somewhere somehow. See how we can be put together, or if it cannot put together. One of my ex-client has said that, actually they have like millions and millions of customer data in the system somehow, but it's from the old system. It doesn't really like synchronize when it's get into the system. So what they did, what she did, she said, well, okay, forget about that. We have to work on that, okay, but forget about hygiene it, okay. Let's make sure that every new client, new customer that come into the system, they are clean. And then we go back to the system, we go back to the database and just clean the clean one and the one that active to our, brand. And by that, and then along the way, we will start to get a bigger and bigger chunk of the database, and it works because it doesn't really require lots of too much of the budget to put into cleaning the old data. So that helps and it works, and it's pretty, I like it in a way, and it's still working. So when it's getting into this, I think the key one would be, okay, sorry, the link, the animation got it wrong, okay. Actually, I want to start it with the purpose. First, we have to have the objective. We need to put the purpose in place and get everyone to buy into it, okay. Everyone have to look into the purpose and understand it, okay. And then you build a team. You need to have a team that really have the same goal and mission. And yeah, don't forget, you look into the process. So do the 3P right first. So once you got that, then you start to look into where you invest. And the marketing automation is more than just investment in, just bear in mind that the marketing automation is more than just the investment into the technologies. Is more or less is require change from the inside out to become more responsive. So that is something that, back to this slide. Oops, sorry. Okay. Back to this slide. The 3P have to put it together. Okay, that will help you to do a better transformation for your or deploying the marketing automation. Okay, I'm running out of time, but okay, a few more slides, I'm done. But for this, I think it's quite important is that we are talking about marketing, right? So we have to look into the 5 A's, the journey for the customer journey. So we really have to work through the customer journey so that then we can start to see how the technologies, how the communications, how the process will put in place. Look at the 5 A's in the customer journey: aware, appeal, ask, act, and advocate, right? If you look into that, aware and appeal, what's the task that needs to be done there? Actually is attracting consumer, right? Making people known about you and convince them, intrigue them to really, listen to your brand. So by doing that, who do you gain? You talk to the strangers and get them into the visitor, okay? And once you get into aware and appeal, the 2 actions done, you get to ask, or get them to act, ask, getting them to register, getting them to talk to you. They become leads. The customer change their status from stranger, from visitor to leads. And then once they act, okay, if they have enough information, they like your brand enough, they get exciting when they listen to your brand, then you can start to, they act, and then they purchase your product, then they become your customer. Okay, and last but not least, once they become customer and repeatedly to buy more and more or buy a longer time, they could become your customer that advocate your brand, so loyal customer. And the loyal customer help because they will bring more stranger to the brand. If you look into this, okay, I'm expanding in terms of the journey and the customer status changing. If you look into the system that help, you need a system to be able to really help you to identify each status, each stage of the customer, and then also putting into more like, okay, the touch point, where and how to touch with them, and the consumer, and so the communication part, the content, that how you're gonna put them into that. Actually, when I'm working with my client, and we or even teaching with a student, we work through this journey part, and within what you're using this template type, we can identify the context of the content and the technologies, the KPI, and the action that should be plugged into each stage of the journey. So yeah, you will get this information, presentation afterward. Use this, start to look into this and use this as part of your planning. That will help a lot. Okay, so what we need to do, okay, during this crisis, during the constraint of the budgeting, constraint of the surviving mode type, we need to move matters into action. We need to move to make people and consumers feel it. And how to make it, how to make it. I put into the 3 stage. During the pandemic outbreak phase, which we have less severe last year, but then more severe this year in Thailand, and in some other country like in UK or US or China, they get into the recovery, and in China perhaps they get into the new normal already. So the way I look at it is, okay, still valid for us in Thailand, is that what matters right now, pandemic outbreak phase, we have as a business, as a marketer, we need to be agile, resilient, and optimize, and see and learn, and trying to learn from the consumer. They're going to be changing. They're going to be adapt themselves as well into the new phase when they get into the recovery. Okay, so when it get into the recovery phase, which is the matters medium terms, I think that's something that we have to look into ourselves, that how will we make up the lost ground. So by doing that, we leverage the shift, we drive the momentums and edging the competitor. But in order to do this, you need to have the information. You need to find new things during the survival mode as well. So budget constraint is one thing, but making things efficient and getting a better ROI would be the key things that you have to look into, how you're going to use the money ahead. The last phase would be the new normal, matter long terms. Okay. If I'm talking about this to the business owner, to the CEO, they'll say, no, not now. We don't have enough money. But believe it or not, many of the company, they're also putting some fund, even small, into this pot because they know that the business that they are doing perhaps doesn't work anymore. So they are trying to get into the new normal. They test and try things that haven't done before, put things in place in the technologies, in the people, upskill and reskill their people so that they can get into the new normal. And for those who get into this, they will survive. Okay, so this matter long term is really you look into how you put the budget into innovation, transform, and be ready to fit for the purpose. Okay, KPI. Okay, I put. I'm like, as I said, I'm the marketing practitioner. I'm really in love in CX and also love on the measurement part. Everything has to be measured. So when it's getting into the SIG transformation and the when we look into the metrics wise, I put it into success metrics and get into outcome, actions, infrastructure, care, and foundations. As you can see in the middle on the infrastructure part, that the people, process, and purpose with technology embed have to be there. You cannot measure metrics without the automation. You cannot measure the metric without the system, the people, and the process. So it has to be put together, small or big. It does matter, but it doesn't matter if it's more matter if you don't really do it at all. So do it small and gradually, make a bigger step. That would be the key thing. Okay. What would be the process for the marketing automations? As I said before, if we look at the journey for the consumer from the stranger prospect into the success or the loyal customer, you look into extracting, converting, closing, and reporting. So if you look into this kind of process, I think you can start to identify the function on the technical side and the platform that you really need to get into, to help you to do a better marketing or the better business plan. And okay, almost my last slide. So 6 steps for marketing automation success. Know your sales process. You have to go back and look into your process, mapping out and look into your consumer and know your customer, look into your journey, customer journey, and put into the strategy, okay, and create the required materials. That required material meaning technology, process, people, and definitely the outcome, okay. And then keep everyone in the loop. When you need to work as a team, and then test it. You can do a small pot at a time, okay. With investment, with a lot of things that are happening now, I strongly recommend that make a plan and do a testing. Test everything that you are doing. That will help you minimize the loss and also get you to the learning part. So key takeaway for today is that, well, why there is like uncertainty about how and when the virus will be contained. One certainty is the crisis still will pass. There will be the after, okay? So stay ready, be resilient, with fighting spirit and good heart. I think I would say that be safe, be strong, and good luck. So all in all, I think why we are here today in the afternoon, because everyone knows that we cannot sit and work as before. We need to learn, adapt, and relearn. Any questions? I think I come to the end of my presentation. Thank you. มีคำถามไหมคะหรือ จะให้
ดี
wrap
มาก
up
ๆ นะคะสำหรับข้อมูลแบบเจาะลึกและแรงบันดาลใจทางความคิดนะคะรวมไปถึงข้อมูลที่เป็นประโยชน์มากมายถึงเคล็ดลับเกี่ยวกับ Marketing Automation ในวันนี้นะคะ
Thank you, Ms.Supavadee, for your very inspiring thoughts and the deep experience and insight. I believe that we all agree both our speaker has given us so much useful information and tips on how to unlock the power of marketing automation in the right way.
ค่ะในลำดับถัดไปนะคะจะเป็นช่วงถามตอบหรือว่า Q&A นะคะหากท่านใดนะคะมีคำถามนะคะก็สามารถพิมพ์คำถามของท่านเข้ามาที่ช่อง Q&A ทางด้านล่างนี้ได้เลยนะคะสำหรับท่านที่รับชมผ่านทาง Facebook Live นะคะสามารถพิมพ์มาในช่องคอมเมนต์ได้เลยค่ะวิทยากรของเราพร้อมที่จะตอบคำถามของทุกท่านค่ะ
Now we have come to the Q&A session, which if any of us have questions, please feel free to type your question with attention to either Mr. Khoo or Ms.Supavadee under the Q&A box at the bottom of the panel, and our speaker will address to it. And for those who are watching live from Facebook, you can also type your question in your comment box, and our team will gather your question and share with our speaker. Kindly note that the questions will be answered by the speaker in English only. However, for Zoho Corporation, they will also have the Thai representative who can reply by typing the answer in Thai.
คุณวิงคะ Miss Wing I think if there's like Thai questions for me I can help answering in Thai as well
Right now we have a question from the floor. The question goes like this. Since there are so many marketing tools, how could we select the right one? Is marketing automation work for every business type? Perhaps Ms.Supavadee, you would like to address to this?
Yes, okay. I think good questions. Thank you for the questions. First of all, go back to what I've just talking to you about. First, you have to have the objective. What are you doing and why would you need marketing automation? I would say for all the industry, for all the businesses, we have to look into how we can start using marketing automation as part of the business, functions or business processes. But then how deep or how much is depending upon the stage of the brand, the stage of the marketing, and the process that you would require. So I would say if you are, I'm not sure which industry you are in, let me give you some example. If you are in the rich data type and also rich processes, in a business system, like for example, like automobiles or the hospital, you would definitely need the marketing automation as part of your enable and the tools to work on the business part to get a better conversion. Okay, that's more like enterprise. But if you're more like a SME part, would be retailers. I think there's no question asked, right? Retailers need it now. But then if you even B2B, small SME or the factory that want to sell into many, the company like B2B part, could marketing automation help? Yes, it could, because with the marketing automation, a good plan and a good use of marketing automation, it helps you to do a better sales conversion, and also it helps to save a lot of time for the sales reps to work on the field, so they can service the customer better with good information. Whereas at the headquarters at the company, you as a management, you can also have like more transparent information on hand, so you can help and do a better job on servicing as well. So I would say yes, both for big, small, or middle, medium size of the company, you would need it, but maybe the market stack would probably like depending upon your requirement.
Hi, thank you very much, Ms.Supavadee, for your sharing. And how about Mr. Khoo? Would you like to add your opinion about this question?
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. So it depends on the type of marketing tools, because marketing tools, there are so many different types. And sometimes, let's say if I use Zoho as an example, we have some marketing tools that are actually free. So these are actually tools that are very friendly for solopreneurs and small businesses. So we never, come from a viewpoint that we are in for the money, but we are in it to ensure that, every small business gets their chance on digital, tools.
We have another question from Mr. Loy. His question is, our problem is about this parent data, and we need to clean, validate, and verify. And due to some human error, the data entry are not done correctly, which resulting in the problem of this parent data. How can automation help in this regard?
Sure. If this question is directed at me, probably I'd like to share that that's because we are so used to doing things on on spreadsheets, and on spreadsheets, it is hard to really track, because sometimes, let's say if you put in a country, some people will use a SG to symbolize Singapore. Somebody will use the small s, somebody will use big S, and then you have different types of data. When you have rubbish in, you have rubbish out. But in Zoho, we have a few solutions. We actually we pinpoint and we know how to counter this problem. So we actually put in certain fields. So we stop the rubbish at the start state. So at the start stage of the forms, we can actually eliminate, I would say, 90% of all of these errors, so that the managers can focus on the more BI and the analytics part rather than the manual work.
May I add to what Mr. Khoo just said? Okay. Yeah. Well, if we start the new operations with the clean sheet, it will be much easier, because you plan everything, starting from at the right path, hopefully. But then most of us, okay, I would say all of us, would have legacy in data that coming from maybe 10, 20, 30 years ago. Just look at what Thailand are, okay, facing at the moment. Okay, we have more prom, okay, is the application from the government. They are trying to gather all the informations from, as a citizens, to be part of their health service in the future. Actually, it's part of the government plan. From because of COVID, okay, thanks to COVID, in a way that it have to speed, really like getting into the point that, okay, now we can do it, otherwise it won't happen. By having this, I just learned that this is quite shocking to me. The hospital system, but some hospital that has a legacy system in terms of data, in terms of the data, they didn't really keep the patient data with the 30 numeric format of our, ID. So when it's getting to more prompt, those hospitals cannot really send the information back to the system. So that is something that it seems to be small if you don't really look at the big picture. But yeah, well, I think starting and learn, and then we fix it, because otherwise it won't happen. And just like from the example that I just shared with you guys, that one of my clients said, well, maybe we can start with the new customer first, get them into the clean sheet, and then we go back to the legacy system and prioritize, the data, and say, well, okay, the top 20, the cream, the platinum, class of the customer, the high value customer get clean, that we act with them. And then the second tier would be anyone that interact with the brand, with the transactions, we get them clean. And then we can start to get into the lower tier later on, because some of the industry, for example, like banking or hospital, you cannot delete the data, it's illegal. So you have to keep it in the system anyway until they show up and say, well, okay, I'm here, and then you get them clean. So that is something that you can put in as part of the plan. You don't need to go back and then hygiene the whole chunk of the information. Otherwise, the budget won't be getting approved at all.
Thank you so much. And if I want to cover the part about the lack of leadership, so maybe let me share with you a personal experience. Sometimes leadership goes both ways. I work with junior staff that have the initiative, and they are very good digital natives. So sometimes when we work with even the junior staff, it is time, sometimes for digital solutions, we should listen to them. And, those also give us a very good way to overcome some of our problems of the legacy. So I'll say that the leadership part is rather more of a communicative type of leadership and also about influence, within your teams. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Khoo and Ms.Supavadee, for your experience and a very down-to-earth kind of the answer that we should learn from. And we have some specific question. Is there a specific marketing update for automotive business regarding the marketing automation that either like maybe Mr. Khoo can share first for the automotive industry?
Sure. Gaining insights from what Ms.Supavadee has shared, the technology is only one aspect. So you want to work well, you also need the people behind the process. And if you are in the automotive business, imagine if you are like a Tesla, okay, because Tesla is our Zoho's a privileged customer. So if you are a big business like a Tesla, high chance that you will have very good technology teams within Tesla to run whatever process you need. You have probably a very good system. But if you're coming from a SME type of automotive business, you might want to partner. Maybe it can be a digital native, and then you should start the process by brainstorming and even learn from some industry experts within this automotive business industry, because you can purchase the best tools, but without the person and the process behind measuring it, improving it, going to be a lot of waste of effort. So a simple advice would be take a look at some of the benchmarks that you have in your automotive business, create milestones and then create some feasible steps, and always consult like an advisory from Duga, and then create some feasible and practical plans to achieve that goals. And I assure you that your goals can be achieved.
Yeah. And then just again, okay, when we get into marketing automations, like CIM, yeah, okay, CIM is part of the marketing automation. When you get into automotive, industry, if you really look into the customer journey for people who are having a car is not cheap, right? So most of the people will hold it for at least 5 years. And through that journey, you have to have like a pre-owned, journey until you own it. You try, test and try, right? And then you own it. And once you own it, you have to go through all the maintenance, so on and so forth, and so finance part. So that's a journey that you lie along it. That stakeholder that's going to be part of the journey apart from the brand itself as well. So internally, you have to, okay, definitely talk to the professional before really pay out for the technology. I would say, go back, look into the process, look into the customer, and then look into your stakeholder, because you have to get them to buy in. Especially for the automobiles company that already, exist, not a new one, okay? You need to work with the dealer. The data sit with the dealer, not with the brand in most of the case. How can you implement the system that the dealer also benefit from it, and they don't feel that, oh my gosh, they are going to be like losing their power to the headquarters. So that is something that you have to get stakeholders in place, get them trained, make sure that you also listen to them and get into the benefit of having this new system, the automations, stuff that helping them to sell car better. And it worked and it helped. But then it's like, I would say yin and yang, okay? Because Mr. Khoo was talking about, I think like Chinese history, right? And then it's the same thing, right? It's art and science. That's the beauty of it as well, because you need to work with the people and then getting the people to love you. And you have the system as a science to help, grow it together. So that is something that is a charm of, this kind of professional.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ms.Supavadee and Mr. Khoo, that make everything like so easy for us to understand. And due to the time limitation, we will be answering the last question, which comes from All Mary. The question is like this: in case I am implementing the AR or VR edutainment project and I want to get some useful guardian and kind advice, can Duka, which means Khoo Supavadee, help us about this?
So in terms of what? Sorry, I didn't get the.
Or the VR edutainment project, entertainment and education project.
Okay. Actually, we are the we are not the agency. Okay, we are like the association that helping and getting the ecosystem work. But yet again, you can connect to us, and then we probably can help you to like recommend you to work with the professionals that really working on this. Yeah. I think I see another questions, Kun Wings on the screen on chat, asking about the cyber security. Maybe Mr. Khoo can help look into this as well, because it's a big thing for every country actually in digital.
Yes, correct. So cybersecurity, I think he's trying to ask us, do we have any experience? Probably for me, I have quite a little experience because it's about marketing. So I'm a marketer by training. So I'm sure being in a technology company like Zoho Corp, we have a division that helps IT departments manage their IT servers, more efficiently. So it's called Manage Engine. And within this division, we have many cybersecurity experts. So it's one of our division, because we own and operate our own data centers. That explains that our prices are very affordable. So we have another division called Manage Engine, which actually does on this cybersecurity portion.
Yeah, for Duka, actually we have covered one of the topics that's been really like covering for this year is about cybersecurity, because it's become more and more important. And actually for this year, we supposed to launch to implement the PDPA, law, as well as like looking into the more like on the cybersecurity as well from the government side. But because of the COVID, it has been postponed for another year. But nevertheless, all the company have to comply to the PDPA anyway. So yes, cybersecurity would be one of the key topics that for Duka, we still like, have, we have the sessions that seminar that coming up soon, looking into this topic. So please go and check at our website and also Facebook on Duka. Yeah. I think everyone have to be trained and then have to really up to it. And there's a lot of processes and the system in place that you need to invest actually. Yeah.
ค่ะขอบคุณมากเลยนะคะสำหรับคำถามที่ถามเข้ามาจากทั้ง2ช่องทางด้วยกันนะคะทีนี้ในส่วนคำถามอื่นๆที่มาจากทาง Zoom แล้วก็ทางในส่วนของ Facebook นะคะเดี๋ยวทางทีมงานนะคะจะขออนุญาตรวบรวมให้แก่กับวิทยากรอีกครั้งหนึ่งเพื่อเป็นผู้ตอบคำถามให้กับทุกท่านอีกครั้งนะคะเนื่องจากว่าเรามีเวลาที่ค่อนข้างจำกัดนะคะแล้วก็วันนี้เราหวังว่าทุกท่านนะคะได้รับความรู้ไปปรับใช้กับธุรกิจของแต่ละท่านนะคะต้องขอบคุณผู้สนับสนุนหลักของเราในวันนี้ด้วยนะคะบริษัท Zoho Corporation นะคะและหน่วยงานผู้สนับสนุนการจัดงานในวันนี้ค่ะจากสมาคมผู้ใช้ดิจิทัลไทยนะคะขอขอบคุณคุณครูแล้วก็คุณสุภาวดีมากๆเลยนะคะสำหรับข้อมูลดีๆที่เป็นประโยชน์ในวันนี้ค่ะขอบคุณค่ะ
Due to the limited time, we have to end the Q&A session. And for those questions that we cannot address within this webinar, please be assured that we will gather them and share with our speaker to address to you. Once again, we hope that you have enjoyed today's session. I would like to express our great appreciation to our exclusive sponsor, Mr. Khoo of Zoho Corporation, and especially to Khoo Supavadee of Thai Digital Technology User Group Association for your valuable insight and all the useful experience that you have shared with us.
ค่ะและสำหรับในเดือนหน้าเรายังคงสานต่อการจัดงานสัมมนาออนไลน์เช่นนี้อีกครั้งนะคะภายใต้ธีม Empower Your Business What's Up Next on Data and Cloud ค่ะและในวันที่ 8 มิถุนายน 2564 ที่จะรวบรวมผู้เชี่ยวชาญด้าน Data และ Cloud มาให้ความรู้กับทุกท่านค่ะทั้งนี้ทุกท่านสามารถติดตามข่าวสารการลงทะเบียนร่วมกิจกรรมดีๆแบบนี้ได้อีกที่ช่องทางโซเชียลมีเดียที่โชว์อยู่หน้าจอตอนนี้นะคะ
Next, I would like to share with you our upcoming webinar, which is on the topic Empower Your Business. What's up next on data and cloud? happening on the 8th of July, starting from 2 p.m. Bangkok time. You can follow our webinar and activity via our social media, which is shown on this screen.
ค่ะนอกเหนือจากตัวงานสัมมนาของเราแล้วนะคะเรายังมีการจัดงานแสดงสินค้าเชิงธุรกิจนะคะภายใต้ชื่องานว่า DigiTech ASEAN Thailand ค่ะโดยมีกำหนดจัดขึ้นระหว่างวันที่ 24 ถึง 26 พฤศจิกายน 2564 นะคะทั้งในรูปแบบที่จัดแสดงที่ฮอลล์แสดงสินค้าที่ฮอลล์ 7 Impact Exhibition นะคะและการจัดงานในรูปแบบของออนไลน์ด้วยค่ะเรายินดีต้อนรับทุกท่านเข้าร่วมงานนะคะหากท่านใดสนใจเข้าร่วมงานแสดงสินค้าจัดบูธออนไลน์หรืองานสัมมนาออนไลน์นะคะก็สามารถติดต่อเราได้ที่ช่องทางการติดต่อที่ขึ้นหน้าจอตอนนี้ได้เลยค่ะ
Besides this webinar, our main event, DigiTech ASEAN Thailand exhibition, will be held on the 24th to 26th of November in the form of online and physical exhibition. And we welcome you to join us. Should you be keen to know more, please do not hesitate to contact our team as indicated on this slide.
ค่ะก่อนที่จะจากกันไปในวันนี้นะคะพวกเราขอความร่วมมือทุกท่านค่ะรบกวนช่วยทำแบบสอบถามประเมินความพึงพอใจเพื่อใช้ในการพัฒนาการจัดงานให้ตอบโจทย์กับอุตสาหกรรมเทคโนโลยีและดิจิทัลค่ะความเห็นของท่านนะคะก็จะช่วยให้เราสามารถพัฒนางานได้อย่างต่อเนื่องนะคะทุกท่านสามารถสแกน QR code เพื่อทำแบบสอบถามที่แสดงขึ้นหน้าจอได้เลยค่ะ
Lastly, we would love to hear from you so we can improve and bring you the most relevant knowledge and business opportunity. You will be receiving by email our post-webinar survey. The 3 minutes of your time to complete this will really help us understand your needs and areas of improvement for future events planning.
ค่ะวันนี้ก็ขอบคุณทุกท่านนะคะที่เข้าร่วมฟังสัมมนากับเราในวันนี้ค่ะแล้วพบกันอีกครั้งนะคะในเดือนถัดไปค่ะ
Thank you once again for joining us today, and we hope to see you soon. Bye bye. Sawadee ka.